everybody, welcome! My name is Ursa Ryan. Yes, that lovable scamp you know that plays Civ 6 for a living. Well, today we're not playing Civ 6, we're going to be playing Millennia, the new 4X Grand Strategy game from Paradox. Now, I'm very lucky to have been sponsored by Paradox to make this video today. Regular viewers of the channel will notice that this isn't the first time we've played Millennia on the channel. I've been getting my teeth into the meat of the game. Apart from Civ 6, it has been a long time since a game has grabbed my attention as much as Millennia has. It's very addictive. It progresses really well from the beginning of the tech tree to the end. It has some really interesting mechanics. It certainly caught my attention, and today I'm going to be showing you an entire game of it. More than that, because I've been practicing and because I am, well, I'd like to think I'm pretty good at 4X games, today I'm going to be taking the game on Grandmaster difficulty, the hardest difficulty that Millennia offers you, equivalent to that of Deity. It's a big step up. It's a new game, but I think we can have some fun. Remember, if you fancy playing along yourself, just click the link in the pinned comment below or in the description of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourself comfortable and join me for a tour of Millennia. And here we are, the fabled city of Byzantium. There is nothing in this city, no resources at all. Never mind, we have a good range of grassland and scrubland, basically the difference between plains and grassland and Civ. We've even got a large forest to our side and some resources on the second ring. And that's all we really need for, like Civ 6, when it comes to starting a game of Millennia, you're looking for resources around your city, you're looking for areas to expand into, and with your starting units, you want to start exploring around the map to see what's around you, what resources are there to grab, what opportunities are here to take advantage of, and we've got to move quick. Grandmaster difficulty means that the AI is significantly powered up, and if we're not careful, we are going to be left in the Age of Stone whilst the AI hurtles towards the Age of Bronze. In Millennia, just like in Civ 6, you have a resource called knowledge, or the equivalent of science. This takes you through a tech tree that is divided into ages. The Age of Stone is the first, and I need 3 techs in order to advance into the Age of Bronze, the second age. Just like in any good 4X game, technologies are all important. As you progress, well, your civilization really does accelerate. There's no point farming with your bare hands, for instance, when you can invent the tractor. Makes a big difference. A lot of people like to open up with scouting. It gives you a free scout, it lets you explore quicker, but I do not. I like to start with tribal elders. This unlocks for you a building called the Council, which gives you 1 knowledge. At the beginning of the game, I have 2 knowledge, so if I increase that by 1, that is a 50% bonus to how quickly I go through the tech tree. We need that sort of science. I also need to explore, so whilst I could have got a free scout by going for scouting, I'm just going to build one in Byzantium instead. I like it this way round. There's no correct way of playing this game, but for me, going for knowledge as quickly as you can will help put you on par with the AI as fast as possible. So far, I have explored, seemingly, a dead end. That's not very useful, I might have to go in the other direction. This is what the scout is good for. May I just say, I love the fact that we start in 10,000 BC. Civ starts in 4,000 BC, so Millennia, with 6,000 years more in the game, it could legitimately say that it's twice as big as civilization. It's a cheeky claim, but technically true. Now, just like in Civilization, technology and knowledge is not the only important asset or resource you'll be picking up. I am also picking up something called culture. Now, normally, your capital, because of your starting government, it gets 2 culture per turn. But again, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that when I picked Byzantium, right at the beginning of the game, you can pick a starting benefit. There's quite a few of them that are good. I like food in your capital. I've seen people go for production in their capital, faster scouts, more production at the beginning, but I like additional culture. All it does is it gives you +1 culture per turn. It becomes obsolete pretty quickly. But again, when you're only getting 2 culture per turn, +1, that's 50% faster. And now we've actually finished our culture. I only needed 8 culture points to complete my culture power, but this is a recurring power that you can use, and every time you pick it, well, something fun happens. It's the beginning of the game, there's very little I can do. I can pick one of 2 things. I can either create a town, an extended outpost in Byzantium, it helps to grow the borders a little bit, or I can go for local reforms, which basically improves every single stat in Byzantium by 50% for 5 turns. It is very tempting to go for a town. However, I can only have 1 town in Byzantium. Currently, I'm not working any decent tiles, and I have no population to do that, and I also don't know what the land around Byzantium really looks like, but I don't want to use that too soon. I'm going to take local reforms instead. Now, I could hold on to that culture power and save save it for something good. But the thing about going for local reforms is that 50% on every resource really is quite good. I'm getting 50% more food and more production. Now, production means that I'm working the scout faster. Food means that I'm now growing the city faster. So my population will go up, and actually my research and my culture have also gone up by 50%. I mean, that's pretty nice, you've got to admit. So by doing this, we'll get a bigger city, we'll push through the tech tree faster, and within 4 turns, we'll complete the culture tree again. So we can just click it again and keep doing local reforms until something better comes along. Even better, I'm actually getting more government XP now. Again, government XP is a resource. It's one of the several domains you pick up in this game, and it ticks along. At the moment, I'm gaining 2 per turn just from my government. This is just my existence, the fact that I'm a tribal civilization. But now I'm getting +3 because of local reforms. The main use that people use government XP for is to make settlers, to put new cities down. However, I've learned, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be Grandmaster, settlements are not what you should be doing. You need to spend your time improving your government. For starters, I'm going to use 6 points to tick my first improvement, tribal farming. Homeland, which is only my first city. The difference between a capital and a homeland is a capital is any major city. A homeland is just your first one, so it's not as good. Homeland gives +1 food. Now, at the moment, that +1 food is not very useful. You can only grow a city to 200% of the resource that it actually needs. So I've got 1 population in the city. That 1 population only needs 2 food. So the city currently can only gain from a maximum of 4 food. So I'm not getting anything at the moment, but in 3 turns, that benefit will improve. Don't worry, there's a lot of mechanics in this game, but there are some good gameplay loops that we will become familiar with before long. Don't you worry. The scout is finished. They're going to now run around, and already we've found our first tribal camp. This is the equivalent of a tribal hut. It will have many goodies in it for me. I want to finish my tribal government as quickly as possible. There is +1 knowledge down in this government. There's +1 improvement points. There's +2 culture. There is some huge stuff for early game bonuses. So because of that, I'm going to build a town center. This will give me 1 government XP. Other options are the dolmen, which will increase my border growth. In Millennia, you grow into every single time at exactly the same rate. It's slow, it's painstaking, but buildings like the dolmen will speed that up, namely because it will increase my influence from +6 per turn to +9, and it also gives you a one-off border expansion. Interestingly, you want to do this before you build the town because of the way that border growth works. It's a difficult one to explain, but you'll have to trust me there. The sooner I get into the tribal government, however, the better. So that's why going for this town center is good. Walls are really useful if you're going to be attacked, but hopefully we won't be attacked. Well, not this early. Grandmaster is, well, it's a little bit brutal, but maybe we'll be fine. We found a few things all at once. Not only have we got a tribal camp, but we've also got an undiscovered landmark. This is something that's really good for our scout cavalry. We've also got what looks to be a minor nation. You can see that sort of grey borderline there. These are going to be very important for me as we go through the game. We want to find as many of these as we can. Now that I've unlocked tribal elders, by the way, now I'm going to unlock scouting for my 3 scout. And I'm also going to go back into my nation, and I'm going to start working the council before finishing the town center. The council building is the one we've just researched. It will give me 1 knowledge per term. There's a reason I wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. You need that building as fast as you can. A raw 1 knowledge per turn beats the government XP for the moment, but as you can see, I'll finish the town center as soon after as I can. Now, let's see what's in the tribal camp. When you find these, unlike in Civ, you get a choice. It'll give you multiple different events that can happen. For instance, I have an auction. A village is holding an auction to sell and trade its people's wares. Either I can take wealth, the equivalent of gold, back to my nation, or I can bring 5 production back to Byzantium. Now you can see it's only 30 production to finish the council building in the first place. So that would take more than a turn off. That's really good. Wealth is useful, but again, at the beginning of the game, there's nothing you can really do with wealth. Things are very expensive, and we're going to be having a lot of wealth in the mid game. So for me, production is much more important, and we will pick that for now. Byzantium has a second population. Whether these things grow, you need to be a little bit careful, because right now I have 9 out of 4 food. I'm well over double. I only need 8 of that food, and if you look at my land, I'm working a grassland tile. That gives me 2 food, but I'd rather have a forest because it gives me an extra production, and by doing that, I won't actually grow any slower. Sure, I don't quite have as much food as I did before because of a 50% bonus, but I'm still growing in 4 turns, and I've taken a turn off my council building, so it's well worth it. I want to do that. What's in this tribal camp to the north? We can take another 3 scout, it just appears, or we we can take some exploration XP. This is the second domain, whereas government gives you more governmental benefits. Exploration is all about scouts and navy. At the moment, the XP is not as useful as just a free unit. A good thing about that is I can actually now send the scout out and keep this warband, my starting warrior, around my capital just in case barbarians appear. Ladies and gentlemen, in Millennia, barbarians are no joke. You really do need to be quite careful. These landmarks, you want to find as many of them as you can. Ideally, 3, because as we go through the game, after era or age 2, the age of bronze, we will have a choice of age 3, and one of them, the effective golden age, requires you to have found and discovered 3 of these landmarks. They can be a little bit vague on the map as to where they are. Sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you don't. Every game is different. But this time, I have found one, and it is Mount Everest. It gives me a little bit of that XP, levels up my scout, and finds a landmark for me. This is why I got the scout before. A 3 scout is better than the 10 exploration XP I was offered before, because I only need 20 of that XP to get the scout. It would be only half a reward, so I'm happy with what I did before. Apparently, this little civilization is LA. Neolithic 8250 BC LA. Of course. Don't question it, it just works. My culture power has now reloaded, and this is where you need to be a little bit careful. We have another option now. I could claim a Eureka. This would give me immediately 5 knowledge. That seems really good. That's a turn and a half worth of tech. However, I only have 2 knowledge per turn, and local reforms is giving me +1, and it lasts for 5 turns, which means I'm getting 5 knowledge, which is exactly the same as Eureka. But I'm also getting every other resource: production, food, government XP, culture. Be very careful about clicking Eureka. Eureka is good. It can be used to rush certain things if you need to achieve things quicker, but often patience works better. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this for 1 turn, let it expire, and then I'll claim it. You can just let your culture power overflow. You don't have to take it immediately. And whilst I've got local reforms still present in my city, which I know I do because I have the extra yields and resources coming through, you might as well just let it wait. There you go. Do you see I've gone from 3 and 4.5 to 2 and 3. So now I go back and grow the city. Do you see how much quicker it grows? Severely underused power, local reforms. Severely underused, and it is one of the most essential tools you will need to beat the game on Grandmaster. I have another scout out now. Fantastic. I'm going to send this one. It looks like I've got a lot of space up in this direction. There's another minor city. There's another tribal camp. All we're going to be doing in this early game is just making sure we expand without being killed by barbarians. That's the main one. Speaking of, in order to achieve my aims, I need to destroy barbarians and I need to gain military might. So I'm going to be going defenses. This will unlock the archer, a very powerful early game unit, and it'll also give me an archer for 3, as well as giving me more defenders in my cities. An essential defensive tech. I would very much recommend that you always pick it up. Now I have a choice between warfare XP. This is the domain that helps you with war and military, or I can just take a free warband, effectively the early game warrior. I'm going to do that because I've already found my first barbarian. These things are tough. The more early game units I can get though, the better. And actually I could grind a little bit of experience by going into my first combat. One of my warbands versus one of the barbarians, they're pretty much the same. We don't need to worry too much about that. This appears to be a Persian scout, my first nation. I've got to be very careful. Persia are aggressive and Grandmaster difficulty will bite me very, very hard if I'm not careful. To the north, the city of Malmo, and I finished the council. That, combined with a 50% bonus I'm getting, means I've gone from 3 science to 4.5 per turn. And now I can cash in my government XP, put another +1 on, which now brings me to 6. We already have tripled our knowledge per turn. This is the start. This is how you try and keep up with Grandmaster AI. Persia, by the way, they look like they're pretty close. Have to keep an eye on that one. It looks like somebody is beating me to the age of bronze already. Somebody out there has already finished all 3 techs and is now researching age of bronze. However, looks like I can research it in only 4 turns. There's a chance we might be able to pull forward and win this out before you know it. We do have some very strong knowledge per turn. All is not lost yet. I'm just trying to keep this warband alive. It's being chased by barbarians. I'm going to move it to there, keep the scout in the way, and hopefully these barbs, if they do attack me, I have to attack my scout rather than my warband. The most essential thing you can do is move out of the Age of Stone as fast as you can. Whilst you are running around with Neolithic clubs, you will be getting nowhere. Nowhere at all. You must move out of this age as fast as you can. You can actually see here, I'm catching up with Greece. My 6 knowledge per turn has almost caught me up already. Now, if you get to the age before the AI, if you're the one that pushes the game on, so you're the first person to unlock it, you pick up something called innovation. It's a wonderful, useful skill that invents random things in your empire that will be permanent boons, permanent buffs to you. It is very, very handy. And if I wanted to guarantee that I hit the age first, all I would do now is take a Eureka. This would give me 5 knowledge, it would boost me through, and I'd probably hit it first. But ladies and gentlemen, I will not be tempted. It is way better at the early game, way better, to make sure you just continue growing your city. To that extent, I need to start thinking about where I'm going to put a town. Towns help to expand your borders. You stick them on the edges of your cities. So for instance, I could pop one on this tile, and it increases your borders to encompass it, because any tile around your town becomes a lot easier to get. Currently, you can see I need about 15 influence to take most tiles on my borders, 24 on some of these forests. Well, if I put a town down, it decreases to about 3. So you immediately pick those tiles up. Later in the game, you can also specialize towns. If you put improvements that link with the specialization, you get extra bonuses. So for instance, if I put a town, called it a farming town, and put loads of farms around it, well, I'd get bonus food. If I made a lumber town and put loads of lumber mills around it, I'd get the same bonus, but it's production. And looking at the size of this forest to the right of Byzantium, well, ladies and gentlemen, lumber towns do look quite interesting, but until we can expand our borders and until we can use things, putting towns down, it's not really going to gain us anything. And I don't like putting towns down until at least I've put down the dolmen. You want to get that influence boost whilst you are working more difficult non-townless tiles. Then your borders will expand, then you can put a town down afterwards. It's a way of guaranteeing that you get more land. So I'll pop that down. Now, you may also notice I've got this little resource in the bottom left increasing. This is an improvement point. This is different to production. Production works internally in a city. This is what I'm using to make units and buildings. Improvement points is a separate resource. I'm only getting 1 per turn at the moment, or 1.5 because of my local reforms. This is the resource of which I can use to put improvements on the tiles. So I can put docks down, fishing boats, foresters, pastures, hunting camps. If I want to improve my resources and improve my stats, that's what I'm going to be doing. For instance, I could put a hunting camp on this scrubland. It would turn it from a 1 food tile into a 3 food tile. The reason I haven't done this just yet is because it wouldn't actually boost the speed of which Byzantium is growing. So I'm saving onto those points for now. Once you hit the age of bronze, there are more things you can do with improvement points, and it's worth hanging on to them just for a little bit. Another mysterious village. This time, I can just pick up straight government experience, which means we can get to this 25 improvement as fast as possible. 2 culture per turn? That will be 3 when I've got local reforms. That'll take me from 4.5 to 7.5. That's mad. Again, I'm just going to go local reforms for a little bit. I could raise an army, give myself a warband and an archer. That's not a bad idea. I like local reforms, and I'm just going to hold off until it wears out, and then I'll pop it down the turn after, just to maximize how long I'm using it for. There you go. You can see the resources have now gone down. My city is no longer growing. It's only getting 7 out of the 6 food that it needs, but bam, now it's getting 10.5, and we're gaining all of the other stats we would want. Another minor vassal, Ushu. The more of these we find, the better our age 2 is going to be. Just keep an eye out for it. 25 government XP. Here is the innovation. I'm currently getting 10 per turn. Once I go to 100, I will begin to accumulate a chance to innovate something. Who knows what it might be. Once I've got 1 innovation, it all resets. 70% of the innovation per turn I've got will disappear, so I'll go from 10 to 3, and the cycle repeats. So you want to be gaining little chunks of innovation every cycle, and that is a really handy amount. But oh, the culture per turn I'm gaining now, 7.5. This is huge. These resources are huge. I've actually taken over as the age leader because of the ridiculous amount of science I'm gaining. I didn't expect to push this age forward. In fact, Greece may still do it. No, unbelievably, we're the ones to push the age forward. That is incredible, and that just shows you the strength of this start. Age of Bronze, the second age. Barbarians get stronger. Innovation and chaos events appear. More domains appear. The game begins to get more and more complicated. But for us, there are a few things we need to think about. Firstly, we need to pick a domain. 8 choices presented to us that can lead our nation in very, very different ways. Ancient seafarers get out to sea and can work the coast and boats way better. Naturalists are really good at unimproved tiles and forest. Wild hunters give you a unique archer and let you hunt elephants and other animals with more success. Raiders let you go for very quick, very aggressive warbands that you can use to run around pillaging and conquering. Warriors unlock unlock Spartans, very strong but very defensive unit, brilliant for big wars. God King Dynasty uses quarries to build pyramid and generally increase your production. Mound Builders is all about making big cities, sanitation, housing, farms, anything you need to go big. And Olympians is all about diplomacy, holding Olympics, gaining points through friendship and competition. I'm going to be showing you a tactic that I have built up, which has been treaded on a little bit by other YouTubers, but I think I've perfected it. This, after all, is Grandmaster difficulty. We're going to be taking Raiders. Now, Raiders were very powerful, then they got patched, then they were very weak, then they got patched, and now they're in the middle. What you need to know is that Raiders in Age 2 are very powerful. In Age 3, they are okay, and in Age 4, they are entirely useless. So you have to go quick. More importantly as well, on Grandmaster difficulty, the AI will tech above you fast. This makes Raider bands very weak against the AI. What are these really good at? They are good at running around and attacking minor nations. They are not so good at taking out other players, but we will try. By being the first to take the Raiders, we gain 5 warfare experience, and they are a warfare domain, so they all work on warfare experience. We need to pick up, as quickly as we can, 20 warfare experience. Then we can get our first promotion, and we can spawn 2 of these units into our land, which will be very helpful indeed. Now, I have built up, in the meantime, this little army of my first 2 warbands and an archer that I got for 3. This is now a 3-unit army. It's not very powerful, but it's the first thing I've got that looks a little bit like a military force. Now, in order to make sure that I push ahead and really get this game going, we need to move quick. And to move quick, I need to make that army a little bit better. So I'm going to be going for discipline. This does a few things. It unlocks a 4th slot in my army. The more units you stack together, the better. It lets you do a cool couple of things like forced march and reinforcements, which you can use to move units twice in a turn or heal them. And it also unlocks the spear. This is the upgrade to the warband. That's something I would like very quickly, because this will turn this warband army into a spear army, and that is a lot more powerful. This, by the way, is a barb camp. We will want to kill all of these as quickly as we can, because they don't spawn back. They simply appear at the beginning of the dawn of time, and then you have to deal with them. If you can deal with them, barbs will stop spawning. That is one of the things I want to do as quickly as I can. Now, normally I don't do this, but I'm going to engage in a little bit of fighting with my scouts. Against regular barbarians, they won't exactly win these fights, but they're not going to lose them either. Every time I fight, I gain a little bit of warfare experience, and as I said before, I need to get to 20 as soon as I can. Faster we get to 20, the better. There's another landmark to my north. Okay, I need to bring a scout up. Oh no, I've got a scout here. Let's use this scout to go and grab it quickly. That is very handy. And even though Byzantium's growing, now it's starting to need me more resources than before. So we're going to start dishing out some of these improvement points. I need more food. At the moment, we're gaining 12 and we need 8. So I'm going to take one of these scrubland tiles, and I think I'm going to make it into a hunting camp. The problem is hunting camps, just on regular tiles, they aren't very good. I'm waiting. I'm saving these improvement points because I wanted to work something like, for instance, this deer tile. That's what I've been saving for. So there is a reason I've been holding off this. Byzantium, you build an archer. I'll bring a second archer to this little band of units here. As I say, we need to get a good formation of melee and ranged troops in the same squad. Then they'll be really powerful. Then we'll be able to use them for something fun. Yes, I'm going to wait for the borders to expand before I put improvements down. Byzantium is still growing. It's still growing. It's not growing quite as quickly as maybe it could, but it's going quick enough. What is this second landmark? The Great Barrier Reef. Beautiful. And what will I get from this tribal village? A pioneer, engineering XP, or engineering XP. Chaos is the opposite of innovation, by the way. As I get chaos, it will accumulate to 100, and then I have a chance of something very bad happening. Chaos is inevitable. You will gain it at some point, but if you can go as far into the game as you can without triggering any chaos, you will have no bad events. So I tend to avoid it at the beginning of the game. However, this pioneer, that is a 3 pioneer. You use it to create little outposts. You can use those outposts to gain resources for your city, but they take a lot of improvement points, and you can gain them later. I think I'm just going to go for the engineering XP. You use this XP to get pioneers in the first place, but you can also use it to expand a town. I do want to wait for that. I'm deciding right now as to whether or not to build a farm. I think I'm just holding off until my borders expand. We'll stick to our guns just for now. Next thing my capital is going to work on, the city of Byzantium, it's going to pick up a work camp. This will give me extra production per turn, but it'll also start to give me ticking engineering XP. You want engineering XP. This will be very helpful helpful as we go deeper into the game. Another landmark. Another landmark. This scout, however, is looking a little bit battered and injured. So I'm going to spend 5 exploration XP to heal it. It just heals it like that. This is a really good use of the XP. And I'm also going to start spending things like my government XP on improvement points back home. Now I'm gaining another +1 per turn. Again, holding fire on the town. Holding fire on the town until my borders grow. It is worth it. Keep local reforms going. You can see it continues letting the city grow, even without the food. However, we have hit 5 population because we have a concept called region level. Region level caps your population that your cities can hit. Every level you get gives you another 5 caps. So because we're only level 1, we are population 5. If I built a town right now, that would increase it, but there are other buildings that give me region level as well. I don't know if I've unlocked any of them at the moment, so we'll continue working on the work camp, but it is worth keeping an eye on the fact that Byzantium will not grow anymore. Here, by the way, is my first raider promotion. I've saved up 25. I was going to go for 21st because this gives you an ability where you can get more warfare experience from combat per unit, which helps you to level up faster, but I also have no wealth at the moment, so if I get too many more troops, I will go bankrupt. So we're going to take this one first. This gives me 2-3 raider bands, but it also means that they take no upkeep, which is really, really nice. Now you can see I'm starting to build a little bit of fleet of units. This will continue. We will do great things with this bunch of units. You can see these cheeky Persians, they're trying to get to this landmark first, but I got there in the end. It is just a landmark, a tall mountain, but more importantly, it is my third. That's really handy. We wanted to make sure that we had the third, because now we have the choice of going into a beautiful third age. Instead of going Age of Iron, the bog standard one, or an Age of Blood, the Crisis Age, we can now force an Age of Heroes if we're the ones to push everything forward, which I very much do want to do. We're going to go community next. This lets me unlock the mill, which lets me turn rice or wheat into flour, huge for food, and the saw pit, which lets me turn logs into lumber. And this is where Millennia starts to get a little bit interesting, because you start to think about getting chains of improvements. I'll show you those in a second. You can see improvement points are beginning to stack up. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about them. I'm just biding my time. You can see my government XP has now capped out. I could get this ability, Raise a Tribal Army. This lets me use my government XP to give myself a 3 warband. That is terrible. Don't use it. Either take settlers or do what I'm going to do. Start to let it stack up. I'm going to let this go higher and higher and higher. As soon as I go into the age 3, we're going to be upgrading our tribal government. If we do that, we want to be able to unlock as much stuff as we can, as quickly as we can. One useful thing about Millennia is that once you upgrade a unit, you don't have to bring it back to your own lands to upgrade it, and it doesn't cost you any wealth to upgrade it either. You simply pay warfare experience. So my warband, for instance, for only 3 experience, which is pretty doable, I can simply upgrade it to the next unit. This is so much more powerful. And as we head towards the grand city of LA, we want to make sure that we can get both of these spearmans upgraded for a very, very cheap amounts of resource. Look at this forward settlement from Persia. Oh my lord, they're coming straight towards me. Don't worry. That will end up being a really good thing for us. You'll just have to believe me there. Oh my lord, this barbarian is pretty strong and it's outside my nation. Don't worry, we'll deal with that later. And here we go. We got some more warfare experience. We now have a fully improved army. Hello, LA. We're going to have to have a little bit of a word, I think. You can see there are so many minor nations around here. So Malmo, Oshu, Nagano, Dallas. There's another one right there. If I can bring my army to the right-hand side of the map, there's a lot of area to conquest, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Now, as Byzantium has hit its population cap just for now, and I've got a little bit of a government XP overflow, I will spawn a settler. I don't tend to do this very often, but another city right now would just mean that Byzantium starts to grow again, which would be handy. We'll come back to Byzantium in a little bit, don't worry. Oh, there we go. Our patience pays off. This is why innovation is so good. Because we hit the age first, we got one of these events, and we have a choice. Either we can claim 300 gold, or I can give my raider bands a permanent +3 attack and defense. That is a huge benefit. 14 attack, 14 defense. Compared to my spears, for instance, of 11 attack and 16 defense, these are now very capable units. We'll keep an eye on that for later. This barbarian is, well, it's attacking my nation, but it's not really doing anything, so I don't mind that. That's fine. Right, now Byzantium has grown, we can start to think about where we're going to put towns down. I would like a bunch of lumber towns later in the game. These give ridiculous and basically unending amounts of production. once you hit age 4 or onwards. But right at the beginning of the game, you do want ideally to have at least one farming town. I'm going to put the farming town there. Farming towns want to be adjacent to as many grassland tiles as possible, but you can't put them over the top of other resources, alas. I can't put it on this tile and then work around here, but this one will do nicely. Farming towns want to be around farms or other farming improvements. So if I'm going to pop the town there, I'll put the farm itself on this tile. However, I need to unlock it, and I realize I'm going for community. It's only a 1 turn for farming because, as you can see, 6 of the other nations have already researched it. So the later you leave a tech, the cheaper it becomes. That is not a problem. It's currently only going to cost me 5 knowledge. It's less than a turn's worth. So I'll pick that up. I'll put a farm or 2 down, and then we'll get the town going and Byzantium will start to grow. This is why I've been holding off on using my improvement points. I just didn't know what I was going to do. And Byzantium isn't really doing very useful things for me right now. I don't need to worry about upgrading it ridiculously. If something gives you warfare XP, take it. Because if you get warfare XP, you can immediately go in and upgrade your raiders. And every time you upgrade your raiders, you get another warband, which actually I can now use to take on and kill this barbarian, which is outside. And that will give me more warfare XP, which I can then use to get more. But the more fighting, the better. You just want to be continually fighting. Never stop fighting. Minor nations, they have walls, they have defenders. You need to bring a pretty serious army to go and attack them. However, I have a serious army. 2 spears and 2 archers. We can do some pretty decent damage because the spears, well, they stop these militia from getting out and attacking my precious archer units. And the spears themselves can start to attack and kill the walls. You may not win the battle in your first attempt. No, that's absolutely okay. But as you can see, in this battle, we are pushing this wall down to pretty much 0 health. And our line inventory or our line units, they're holding firm. LA will not be able to survive too many of these attacks, and we will get our first vassal state before you know it. There you go. Byzantium is now going to pick up its first farm. We're turning, and this isn't very good at the moment, a 2 food tile into a 3 food tile, and it does cost 12 improvement points, which isn't very good. But in fact, I'm actually going to be doing this twice. There we go. Byzantium is growing again. Once community is over, I'll show you how we're going to use that to start to make pretty much infinite sources of food. We make a second attack on the city of LA, but this time the walls will not survive, and now we can directly attack the militia unit. As soon as you can get in at the defenders of a city, they begin to fall very quickly. Unfortunately, my units are taking a bit of damage, and we actually do lose a couple of units in this fight, but this is early game. Don't worry about early game. Units are very replaceable, and speaking of, here are my raider units. Now, these are very fast, very aggressive, but also very brittle. You want a lot of them, and you need to treat them as basically disposable. But first, vassal falls. Whenever you kill one of these minor nations, you get a choice to generate chaos, generate wealth, and bring the population back to your city. Now, there is a way of playing this game where you make almost infinitely big cities by simply moving population back to your own capital. I'm not going to be doing that. We are aiming for a technique that makes us powerful in age 4 to 5. And to do that, we need as many vassals as possible. And we also want to avoid chaos anyway. So we are going to vassalize this nation. You can, unfortunately, only gain a single vassal in the second age. If you kill too many units, you trigger this, a blood age. A blood age is a compulsory choice of age 3 that you must take if you kill 6 or more units that are not barbarians. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want to continue with an age of heroes. So up until the point that we have researched 3 techs, we want to avoid attacking and killing another state. But don't worry, there are other things we can be doing with our time. I'm not fearing, I'm not giving up on hope right now. And in fact, actually, raiders, I've now given them the night march, which means they have another 10 movement, which is wonderful. And I've got another 2 there. So we're building a pretty large army now. As discussed before, my next culture age is going to be to create a town. This will create it right there. The wonderful town of Soldier in His Bucket. It's almost like a little pub. It's beautiful. It's next to some animals. We've got the 2 farms here. This will mean that we expand into these tiles nice and quickly. Once the work camp has finished, we will start to generate some engineering points. We will expand the town using our engineering experience. We will turn this into a farming town. As you probably know by now, I like to name things in my games after the wonderful channel supporters that keep this channel going. Thank you again, everybody that supports on Patreon and Coffee. Hence, Soldier in His Bucket. A delay your name was never going to last. Byzantium sweeps in and leaves nothing but the awesome Aki in its place. I think I stopped Persia from getting in here. Persia are snooping around and I think they were going to attack awesome Aki themselves. Good thing I arrived in the nick of time, eh? Good thing I arrived in the nick of time. Persia could, in theory, choose to declare hostilities with me. Now that basically means they can attack me in neutral territory. What they can't do is march into my land without declaring a formal war. That is a lot harder to do. A lot harder to do. Still, I might keep my archers around awesome Aki just to be safe. Now, the city of Byzantium, we have now finished community, which means we have a mill. And if we go into the city, you can see I am working these 2 farms. These provide 2 wheat. Each one gives me 3 food. However, there is a building that I can build called a mill. It takes 16 improvement points. Oh look, I've just about got that. It's almost like saving these resources was a really good strategy. This converts 2 wheat, which is worth 3 food each, into 2 flour, which is worth 6 food each. Watch this. Currently, I am gaining 12 out of 10 population. Bam. Now, I have 17 out of 10. That's pretty handy, eh? I really want to make sure that we go into the Age of Heroes, so we're going to take another Age of Bronze tech. I would like to go back to the Age of Stone and just work on workers briefly, because this gives me a bunch of improvement points for 3, but it is not the most important thing for me to do right now. I think I'm going to go for belief to unlock a temple, which gives me 1 more culture and knowledge. The best bit about it is one other nation has actually researched it already, which means it's 10% cheaper. That's why shipbuilding would be another option. That's 20% cheaper. That would let me get utility ships, which, let's not forget, I am going to take a coast tile from Soldier and his bucket. That might be a really good plan, but I think in the longer run I want more culture and knowledge. So we'll go belief. We'll skip through this as quickly as we physically can. To say there are a lot of city-states in this area, minor vassal nations would be an understatement. Yeah, this is where my army will be gathering. I just need to make sure that I attack in Age 3, not in Age 2. Okay, Persia has declared hostilities. This means that they can attack me in neutral territory. Annoying, but not so bad that I'm going to be panicking about it right now. We can raise armies, we can produce armies pretty quickly. Just don't want to be fighting any more than we have to. Now that Byzantium has a lovely work camp, it's going to build a food stockpile. Just a little bit of passive food in the background helps the city to grow, and now it is. The town has given me a region level 2, which means we can go to 10 population. Nothing will stop us now. Nothing. Except ourselves, and possibly Persia. Okay, with our 3rd tech, we can now start to research the Age of Heroes. The only problem is that someone's beaten me to it. Germany wants it to be the Age of Iron. They get to this before we do. Well, they get to set the rules. I want to leave this age as soon as I can. That is the thing. However, if I go for this, if I work on my age and I don't get there first, well, a lot of stuff will have been for nothing. How much is a Eureka these days? 10 knowledge. It's still worth it to go local reforms by a long way. I'm going to give it a go. We're going to do quite a few things that should give us some knowledge right now. We're only just behind Germany. Yes, it says 32%. I think they just used a culture power, because it's currently saying they're going to get there in 3 turns, and I don't believe that. To be able to do that, that means they would have a knowledge of like 10 or 11, which isn't impossible, but we're just sort of hoping isn't possible. Even if we're holding off attacking these little vassals, it doesn't stop us from killing barbarians, and doing this, well, it gives us tons of warfare experience, and it also means that we can start doing things like this. Spawning a cavalry would be amazing, but I don't want the chaos. No, we're going to go for the extra production. And now that we've hit 6 population, I no longer need food. Broadly speaking, every 5 population you get above population 1, another resource comes in, and now we need housing. Luckily for me, I have 10 improvement points, which means I can go along to Byzantium and build a dwelling, which gives me a bunch of housing and means that the city continues to grow. Lovely. Oh no, they are genuinely teching up that quick. That's a little bit scary. All right, well, I might as well just start working on the Age of Iron, because if I put any more tech into Age of Heroes, well, it'll just vanish. Whereas if I go towards the Age of Iron, that's one that rolls into, I'll be able to continue teching it up. It's a minor little optimization, but it's one that I quite enjoy. My settler, though, has finally arrived in the location I would like, next to these 2 cattle, and it builds a road between all of this stuff. Yes, exactly what I would like. Welcome, Alex Frost, the city that owns the cattle. You may notice, by the way, that these 2 cities, they're not full-blown cities, not like Byzantium. No, Byzantium is strong and big and independent. These are simply vassals vassals. Over time, they will integrate, one per turn with me. Once I get to full integration, then I could, in theory, bring them into being full cities of the empire. But vassals, ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, vassal prosperity, which I will be able to boost up to 300% soon. That is how we are going to win this game. Right now, we are simply biding our time. And these barbs are just brutal. Oh my goodness. I'm doing my best to keep my scout alive, but I'm running out of exploration XP now. And the worst thing as well is that Persia and their settlers, well, their scouts keep killing mine, but this is a Persian settler. I could just kill it. But I'm not going to right now. I'm actually going to leave it alive because I don't mind if Persia wants to settle. If they want to settle, I will smile and I will say, sure, of course you can. I'll be back to collect that city later. Here's a temple, by the way. Oh, culture and knowledge. It'll take me a few turns to build, but Byzantium will build it. Build it, and they will come. Persia have so many troops around the map. I've just been watching them. They've got at least 4 full armies at the moment running around. This is Grandmaster difficulty, and part of the reason why it's so difficult. We need to play this game diplomatically. I want to keep Persia as much as I can as a friend. Well, up until the point we want to kill them, but that is a separate topic. They don't need to worry about that for now. Seeing as Germany is about to set the Age of Iron, by the way, we need to worry a little bit less about the Age of Blood. That's only my problem if I was to be the one that would set that out. I didn't kill Malmo this turn, but next turn we can take another little vassal state. There it is, Age of Iron. Mines are cheaper, population grows faster, and we have a new government choice, which I'll be able to pick up next turn. Yeah, I keep trying to tempt Persia into neutrality again, but alas, they're not biting. It's almost like they know they don't need to. I've gained enough engineering XP. Now I can expand Soldier in his bucket to level 2, which means I can now specialize it, and I'm going to specialize it as a farming town. By doing this, every farm I have around it provides another 2 food. So this city is now getting just +4 food just from this being a better town. Now Byzantium is growing at 100% capacity, and we will continue to do so. See if we can take down Oshu. We've got lots of archers firing over the wall. We've got the raiders that are just going to try and defeat the wall. 2 attacks. That should be plenty. Malmo, on the other hand, has now fallen. And again, whilst we could fill Byzantium up, I will start to make vassals. Welcome the Falcon. Ward the North. The culture is ready again. One thing you could do is cutting edge. By doing this, you gain some innovation, you unlock some new stuff like wonders, better troops. But I need local reforms. I need Byzantium to keep growing and to grow faster. Get the buildings in quicker, to get the research in quicker, the culture in quicker. Byzantium, you must grow. You must be better than all of us combined. This time, the city of Oshu falls and rises again as flying thunder. Now, a lot of people always tell me with my culture power, I could, in theory, start creating towns on all of my vassals. I would help them to grow faster. I tend not to. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth just focusing on your city and letting the vassals build up slowly. Currently, they're giving me barely anything. I have 6 knowledge coming in per turn from Byzantium and 0.2 from all of my vassals combined, but that's because they have low population and low prosperity. That won't be the case forever. Won't be the case forever. And we are starting to get more and more raiders. That's another 20% bonus damage against militia. That's the unit that all of the minor cities have. So now we can start conquering them a little bit faster, and we've almost reached this glut of little cities around here. There's a lot to capture. Okay, so Persia have declared war. That is not ideal. That is not ideal. However, what I need to do is let them attack me. Defensive wars are a lot easier to hold off than aggressive wars, and if they're going to attack Flying Thunder, I get the benefit of all of the militia, and I can keep my archers in this city as well. I've got quite a lot of troops. Sure, they're not the highest tech. There's enough here to stop myself from being a total pushover. Besides, all we need to do is hold out. Often the AI will make peace eventually. Might take them a little while, but they will make peace eventually. I'll be a little bit careful though. Let's make a couple of archers in my capital. That way we can make sure that any raider bands that we can spawn, we can just put some range support behind them. Stop them from being too easy to attack, you know? We don't want to be pushovers. Now, one thing you need to know about raiders, we are really good against minor nations. We are really bad against full AI units. The reason for that is that the AI use heroes. Heroes are like leaders. They give a percentage bonus to all units within an army, and you can only use them if you upgrade regular units that have got some sort of veterancy. Raiders do not promote an upgrade in the same way, so they're just rubbish. They're absolutely rubbish at attacking AI units. But what I could do is build more regular conventional troops like spears and archers and all that sort of stuff. That often is a really, really good strategy. And as soon as we go to the Iron Age as well, we unlock crossbows, which are a little bit better. So we'll become a lot harder to kill. It's just about hanging out. Defensive wars are where we need to be right now. We need to make sure we are as difficult to kill as possible. There is the Age of Iron. Iron and gold is now available. Arts domain opens, and we can upgrade my government the next time we get to a peaceful revolution. I could spend some experience and violently overthrow my nation, but it's not worth it. It's never worth it. I'm gonna go back and just pick up a couple of techs, but I missed now. And with some of this warfare experience I'm gaining, look, now I have a crossbow. Crossbows are devastating against an AI. They are really, really strong defensive units. Actually, what Persia's done is they've left 2 spears and a leader. These are all frontline troops, and they are out in the open. And now I have crossbows. I can do huge damage because certain unit types do more damage against others. These 3 units count as line troops, and crossbows do 2.5 times damage to line troops. They shred them. Look at that. I took a little bit of damage, but we killed permanently all of those troops. That is a great result for me. The more of these troops we can kill from Persia, the quicker we can convince them to make peace. I'll send them a declaration just on the back of that defeat. We'll see if they take it. They probably won't. No, we need to convince them. We'll convince them a little bit harder, don't worry. Meanwhile, the raider party never stops. We are still going around from minor city to minor city, conquering and conquering and conquering. Welcome, I'm Daft. Guard this city with your life. Byzantium's still growing, but we can now start to push to the second stage of evolution. We are working lots of forests. Let's start to upgrade them with foresters. A little bit more production in that city, and now we can build a saw pit. This converts up to 3 of those foresters from logs into lumber, but it also provides more engineering XP. The engineering XP is almost as good as everything else. So now we'll work on gaining 3 of these improvements, and we'll have a complete supply chain, and we'll be able to see Byzantium's production beginning to shoot up and up and up. Look at officials. Because I've waited so long, that's 70% off. Yes, please. I'm now able to start using my wealth to rush culture, which I'm going to do because I want a peaceful revolution and we want to get the next government as fast as we can. And here we have a choice between Imperial Dynasty and Kingdom. Very broadly, Imperial Dynasty gives you bigger bonuses to your capitals, so cities like Byzantium. Kingdom gives bigger boosts to vassals, like all of my lovely channel supporters. If you're going to have a few separate cities and build them all up, Imperial Dynasty is a fantastic way to go because you get housing and sanitation and food and more regions and knowledge and production, and it all stacks really nicely. But Kingdom has this ability: install Satrap, plus 5% vassal prosperity per turn. And this is where we will begin to thrive. Kingdom is the beginning of the start of the game for us. We have just been surviving until this point, but now I am a king. And in fact, I will try and get the seat of power as fast as I can because this gives another 2 government XP per turn. The first, and this is why actually saving up all this government XP has been so good. First thing we're going to do is make sure envoys are 30% cheaper. Envoys are better than settlers. Just trust me on that. These 2 abilities are a little bit niche, but I would always rather take knowledge rather than wealth if I was going to demand it from my city-states. So we'll do this, and now we will save up for Satrap as soon as we can. That's the priority. We need as much government XP as we can get, as fast as we can get. And actually, we're unlocking a crane at the moment. That's useful. I'm going to get the seat of power as fast as I can. That government XP is very handy. This unit, by the way, is an envoy. So hello to the envoy. Hello. The envoy can be used for advanced diplomacy with the AI, or it can be used to increase integration with my vassals, or I could even use it to just gain a city for 3. I would really like to use it with Persia, but Persia is not being overly friendly, to put it that way. So we'll send it through, and I'll start improving all of the cities like Orsamaki and Alex Frost and Flying Thunder, and we'll go from there. But it's well worth remembering that it's quite a strong unit. Oh, look at this. More government XP from killing a barb camp. That means we can get to Satrap so quick, which means I haven't even got to rush the seat of power like I thought I might. Instead, I'm going to rush a granary. Granaries are really good. It takes me from, improves from a food stockpile. The food stockpile is giving me 3 food per turn. A granary would be 15. 15! We want Byzantium to continue growing, and that's a very good way of making sure it does. Persia keeps separating their units out. This is confusing. Why would you do that? You're just going to leave me open to just killing you here. Look, there's another 2 units killed from Persia. Done. More warfare XP from me. I'm trying to get to victors as fast as I can. That means every time I win a battle, every unit that took part in the battle heals 20%, which is big. A couple of little skirmishes like that, and we've almost got it. Once you hit victors, ladies and gentlemen, all of your units that are pre-gunpowder will heal after every victory. It becomes very, very difficult to kill them. We like that. I can see Persia is sending an army against Awesome Aki, but unfortunately for them, my reinforcements are going to arrive long before theirs do. And now we have a bit of a choice. Do I continue attacking minor cities, or do I start attacking Persia? We've actually taken out 2 Persian armies in the field of battle here using this little Giga unit. I could start taking out their little vassals. The problem with that is if I do that, I'm going to start accumulating chaos. Chaos is not good. Chaos will mean that we have some very bad things happening in my nation, but we can only hold it back for so long, and it makes no sense to kind of handicap myself, I don't think. So we're going to go for Persia. I think we're going to go for Persia, and look, now every time we get ourselves into a fight, our units heal afterwards. So the more we fight, the more warfare experience we get, the more our units heal. We just need to be fighting continually, never stopping. Even now we've got to this point, the 3 cities now get 1 hit by a stack of my raiders. Welcome, Gooberman. Don't mind the flames. They will put themselves out. I think. At least they normally seem to go out, eventually. Once you have a little bit of diplomacy XP, you can get these merchants. Merchants can be put in your vassals, and they start to do this. Increases prosperity by 10% per turn. Now, Awesome Aki is currently at 100 out of 300. Yeah, don't ask me. It's a confusing way of doing things, but now Awesome Aki is going to become more and more prosperous. Once I get close to 300, I'll take the merchant out, I'll move into the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Before you know it, we'll have very happy vassals. We need to get all of these to 300% as fast as we can. Welcome, Cartesian. You two have joined my beautiful nation. It's lovely. Don't worry. There's nothing to fear from here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. As my engineering XP goes up and up, I'm going to start getting things called pioneers. Now, these let me build outposts on the map. Outposts do a few things. They connect cities up in terms of just physically building roads, which makes a huge difference across your nation. But it means I can get resources into Byzantium from a distance. You want a few of them. You want a few of them in various places, ideally. And, I want to get a dock down in my city as fast as I can as well. There's actually a few improvements that I want. I'm working on improved tiles right now. A granary is all very well and good, but now I can do levy workers. If I put this through instead, I get another 5 improvement points per turn. In a couple of turns, I'll have enough to make sure that I've got everything upgraded, and that will make a big difference. Yep, we gave Persia the opportunity to peace out. They said no. So now I'm going to go against their undefended little perimeter cities. Now this will have been a settler that they put down, a little bit like my Alex Frost city, but alas now, it is simply hardy and no more. No less, no more. It just is. And underneath that, Callum Billy. She's getting so many vassals now, I'm going to have to make sure that I can fit them all in the map. Got 10 cities now. Only 1 major city, but 10 cities. And here we go. Install Satrap. Now, every single vassal I have will be gaining 5 prosperity per turn. The merchant in Awesome Aki is giving 10. It's not a huge amount, but that's 50 prosperity across all of these every turn, or 45 at the moment. But still, it's really good. And this is where Kingdom becomes very, very powerful. Age of Iron has got some really cool stuff, but infrastructure is one of my favorites because this increases the number of towns a region can support. Byzantium can have a second town, as well as being able to make bread, which is an improvement on flour, which I've already got. And we can get aqueducts, which keep me sanitized. I mean, you've got to remain sanitized. That's just the bare minimum, isn't it? And as much as I'm fighting Persia right now, I don't mind keeping them alive a little bit. The longer they're alive, the more of these little cities they're going to make, and I don't want to charge at them like crazy. So this raider army, it does better against barbs and free cities. It's going to go in that direction. This army will head towards Persia. We're going to go and see if we can get some more kills on the open plains. The crossbows are unit killers. The raiders are not. The raiders are absolutely more map interactors. So many little 3 cities around here. More diplomacy XP. That means more merchants and more prosperity. Welcome to the fray, Salty Tech. I made a new army just for you. Here is my outpost, and hopefully, yes, the road connects everything. All I need now is Byzantium to just finish up a second town, a lovely lumber town, which I could put, say, here, and be totally surrounded by woods, and this would make Byzantium into probably the most productive city on the map. Fingers crossed. If you make a dock the first time you do it, you get one of these, a utility ship. A utility ship means that you can go out and improve a tile without it necessarily being in your nation. Now, I have a tuna, and this gives me 5 food into my capital. It's just that little sort of interaction means that we can now continue growing, and I can now make boats as well. We could explore into the coastal areas and stop barbarians from pillaging our coasts. That would be something that would be pretty handy, don't you think? Oh, we're going to be scouting up this way. You didn't expect to see a fully blown army this way, did you, Persia? Didn't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an offer for peace soon, because at the moment I'm intercepting their reinforcements before they can get anywhere near the rest of their army. Like, this crossbow was probably going up to join another army, and I just killed it there. As soon as you start getting chaos, you can get really bad events happening. You can cancel chaos events with a lot of wealth, but you need a lot of wealth. So I'm going to start accumulating some, and I want to get to about 600 as fast as I can. It's a difficult number to get to, but if we can get to 600, I will feel as a nation like we are chaos proof. It won't quite be that simple, but it'll feel like that. The funny thing is that every time barbs attack my scouts out in the field, look, they do some damage, we end the combat, and then they heal 20% because they're on the victorious side of it from the raiders. So one of the inadvertent abilities from taking this raider thing with victors is that your scouts become almost unkillable. I use the phrase almost because they still very much are killable, but they're almost unkillable. As fun as it is to have 2 crossbows and 2 raiders, I'm going to upgrade one of my crossbows now to a leader. This will be a leader 3. It'll be another frontline troop, so I'll lose a crossbow, which isn't the best, but this will give all of my units in this army a 30% tactics increase. It's also a really, really hard-hitting unit. 30% is the difference in an entire upgrade. It will make my troops so much harder to kill. I don't mind this at all. Can we kill that scout? No. Often when you route a unit like this and then it runs off, for me, every time I get a unit into a fight, I get tons and tons of extra XP. So this isn't actually a bad thing. It means I can then use that XP to make more units and just get more and more and more and more like this. Welcome, Super Stevo. Join the fray. My 12th city, but not least my least city. No, but I'm proud to have you all here. Look at this. And actually the roads, if we just continue to build up the roads at the very least, my lord, that would be wonderful. We're almost an opportunity to fight Persia, but they're stood on a hill. That would give them a defensive bonus, so I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go around and see if I can kill another city of theirs. I don't want to fight Persia. I actually would quite appreciate a little bit of a chill relationship here, but if they are going to fight me and I have no choice in the matter, I'm going to make them fight on my terms, in my defensive spots, on hills and forests. Give me a defensive upgrade. That's what I say. Apparently one of the players has been eliminated already. Yeah, Millennia's like that. It can be very aggressive, and we've met Germany down here. So I've only got 1 full region at the moment. I like playing quite tall. Germany's got 2, Persia's got 3, but if we have a look, my power is ever so slightly less than Persia's, but we're pretty much on par. But I am above Germany. So right now we're doing okay. I'm tempted to offer Germany decent relations. How do they feel about Persia? Okay. They feel okay. I'm going to propose open borders with them and see what happens. Oh, this is a surprise Persian army. That's 2 chariots, a spear, and a crossbow attacking Kalimbilly from the south. That's not a problem. I can still use my warfare experience to spawn more raiders. I just need about 8 more of it. But luckily for me, I have a way of grinding almost infinite warfare experience, and that is just to kill barbarians. There you go. And already I can just go bam. There are defenders here. Kalimbilly with its militia probably will be safe from that attack now. I finally managed to put enough workshops around Byzantium, foresters, in order to make the saw pit fully efficient. So now our production in Byzantium has gone up. You can see the food is struggling slightly. The housing is struggling slightly. So we're going to finish that granary we started a little while ago, and we'll save up improvement points to build in some more housing. We want to keep Byzantium growing for as long as we can. Big population capitals is how you win this game. Well, backed up with a lot of extra vassals, but it all gets you to the sort of very similar place, really. Germany are not going to be too happy with me for a little bit. That's annoying. But look, Kalimbilly was attacked with the pretty decent army. However, my raiders are very strong against the cavalry. I just hope they actually attack the cavalry like they should do. You have a weakness against them. Right? They're not attacking properly. The raiders just got killed. This feels like a very inefficient battle. But we didn't lose, I don't think, any units here. No, they got routed. We were very close to losing, but they've now healed and they're now happy. This is a Persian outpost. The thing about outposts is that they do not have any defenses. So unless you leave troops on them, they die immediately. That's why when I made this one, I actually have left a couple of units on it just to keep it safe. They can be a little weak and a little fragile, would be another way of putting it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use volunteers, which I don't normally do because raiders are much more efficient, but I'm going to spawn them, Cal and Billy, as well. Now we have more defenses. This is going to be a tough city for them to crack. They might do it, but I'm going to make them bleed. Yeah. Oh, look at that. No, we survived. We survived. And we actually healed more from the end of the fight than the damage we took. This is why raiders are so strong. Local reforms back in Byzantium. The production will now start to accelerate to its beautiful, beautiful finest. And we want an aqueduct as fast as we can get one. Once I get to 11 pop, I'm going to need a new resource. Sanitation. An aqueduct will give me quite a bit of that. Next up, horses. Lets my cities grow a little bit quicker. Gives me a bit of warfare experience. It's not the best, but a lot of people have already researched it, so it's nice and cheap. We'll go for it. Faster we get through the ages, the better. I have an opportunity to get through and attack Babylon here, which just have militia units, and I'm good against militia units. I've got crossbows, I've got raiders. See what we end up doing. Bam. Oh, we didn't quite get the kill there. We've done a decent chunk of damage though. Speaking of, you can spend a little bit of warfare experience to force march. It means a unit moves a second time in a turn. You take a little bit of health damage to do it, but it means you can have another go at something or pull your units back. In this case, it stops my units from being routed. I can pull them back, I can heal them, we can go again. All we're doing is just picking at the edges of Babylon's strength here. We don't necessarily need to win every skirmish, every engagement. We're just weakening them. Persepolis. This looks like a much bigger city. And start raising their improvements. That just gives me extra gold. Gold I'm saving up for because chaos is bad. This is what I'm talking about. A chaos event. The last great barbarian king has come to negotiate with Byzantium. He's the last of his kind and will not bend the knee. If I press accept, I will get 2 barbarian warlords, which are really, really tough units at every single one of my regions. It's really, really bad. Or I can just pay 450 wealth and get rid of that, which I'm going to do. As long as I can keep a surplus of wealth, I can stay pretty much immune to all chaos events. That's what we're hoping anyway. Now, something's happening which is quite interesting. Just like we had for the Age of Blood, there is something called an Age of Plague. If we go 20 viral illness charges, then we will trigger one of these. And that's when you have cities that don't have any sanitation. So we need to work on sanitation as a bit of a priority, although my unrest is growing. This is something that happens the higher the population of your cities go. All you need to do is just make a city guard, stick it in the city, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. My other strong army is just creeping around the back of Persia now, destroying towns from behind them. That's a Babylonian town we just managed to destroy there. Excellent. They're building up a large army, a really large army, and awesome Aki is now under threat. Aztecs. Persia's just rejected peace again. Ugh, annoying. No matter though, we're having success against them. We just keep snipe killing, healing, pillaging. As long as you want to play this game, Persia, we'll play it, and I'm just generating more and more and more from you. Aztecs are doing slightly worse than me, as is Germany. It's just Persia, unfortunately the strongest neighbor on this continent. Oh no, Persia's slightly weaker than me now. Excellent, we're dragging them down with us. Oh, now Persia's offering peace. Now Persia is offering peace. It all depends on what was happening back in Byzantium. I was having one of my more experienced armies being chased back into my own borders, but it looks like it's got there and I'm healing now. So I'm tempted to continue this war and then end it on my own terms. We're still gaining quite a bit of experience. We're still getting quite a few kills. And look at that. Envoy, Spear, Chariot. That's so many units they're just leaving. Totally out in the middle of nowhere here. Bam. Huge chunk of experience for me. Yeah, I've got to the point where I can legitimately say, I can do this all day. I'm going to make an outpost in order to expand Byzantium's borders. This is the other way of doing it. What you can do is use your culture power to make a town, then upgrade it with engineering XP. This is when you use engineering XP to make a pioneer, to make an outpost, and then you use your culture to absorb an outpost. It goes straight to level 2. It actually gives you a little bit more terrain because you can see all of this is now included. So Byzantium will grow and it'll be a perfect source of wood. I probably could have gone back one tile thinking about it. And this is the thing, you can always change your mind. Yeah, I will revert back to pioneer and I'm actually going to make it in this section. Yeah, that'll give me even more resource, more land for Byzantium. You know, I think the vast lumber fields of Alex Frost and all this open space here, especially with the outpost next to it, this is going to be a fantastic second city. I have some spare government XP. I don't really want any of the other upgrades to kingdom until we get kingdom reformed. So this is going to be a fantastic second city for me. It's integrated, it's ready to go, it's got some really good towers that I can work immediately and some fantastic land to expand into, and it's not a million miles away from my capital as well. Now, if you integrate a new city, it becomes a full city. However, you start to get a culture cost. I will effectively pay 3 culture per turn just to have this in my nation. However, kingdom gives me 2 culture per turn for every capital, so I'm only losing 1 at the moment. It's worth it, but we need to get Alex Frost up and running as fast as we can. Let's start immediately with the council. Get some more knowledge. Need you running. I'm going to get you up to as big a city as I can. We'll rival Byzantium before you know it. Now that I know what horses are, which is surprising in itself, I'm going to go for scribes, because scribes have libraries and may have more knowledge. It's like any game, really, isn't it? More knowledge, the better. Millennia is no different. I'm glad that we continued this war, because we've taken another population. Welcome, tech poet. Persia, keep settling for me. How very kind of them. The best bit is when you return to a city, and the walls and the militia are all still damaged from the last time you were here. It's like, hello, remember me? Oh yeah. This is a turning point. This is a turning point. We currently have 34 production. 14 of that is from Overflow, so we've only got 20 production in this city. We can do so much better than that. First of all, rush for culture, then absorb outpost. Just double check it's connected to Byzantium. It absolutely is. Bam. Welcome, Jono. You are a lumber town. Now, the good thing about a lumber town is that any forestry improvement I put around it, well, this gives the town another 2 production. So this is worth a maximum of 12 production immediately to Byzantium, which more than doubles what it's got just by having the improvements. I don't even really need to work them. They just need to be there. That's the best bit. Persia moved their troops away from Anshan, and I stole it behind their back. They went for tech poet. I left it open deliberately, and then I spawned some troops behind there, so they don't even get to keep this one. Age of Kings. Germany again, teching up like an absolute badass. I'm not that far behind, but we need to work on our tech. Don't worry, age 5. That's where I'm starting to think that we're going to come online. Age 5. However, welcome, Silver. You've always been part of the nation of Byzantium. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Whilst all this is happening, over in the Far East, my original raider bands are still going around. Welcome, Polawolaba. You are my 15th city, and looks like there's more on the menu. Let's build up Alex Frost a little bit now. We're going to start working on all of these tile improvements, get the 2 food sources rocking, then build the usual 3 woods into a lumber mill. It's a strong opening. You might as well go for it. The walls of Babylon fall, and from the ruins, Major TJ King Kong. Suddenly, this is my biggest vassal. Need to work on this one, actually. Get this one integrated as quick as possible. Actually, look at that. Awesome, Aki. The merchant is done. The merchant's job is done. Let's send you over down here now. We're beginning to turn a corner with the number of vassals we've got. I'm getting 5 knowledge per turn from Byzantium and 2 from my vassals. My vassals is now worth 40% of my research and about 40% of my culture as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even got started on these yet. Now, the walls of a major town are often a little bit harder because there's more militia, there's defensive towers, but right now, having quite a lot of luck. We've done so much damage to Persia's army. They basically have nothing left, and these are heavily promoted raiders now. Look at that. One of their major cities falls. It's not their capital, but it's as close to. Clint, you're in charge of this one. This is a big one. This is a big city, so you got to look after it. It's gonna be very handy for me to have this long term. Skeptical Bear, you join the ranks down on the bottom corner of the map. There are still more cities down here. Well, they're not endless amounts, but we are finding quite a bit. Instead of going for any more of these techs, I'm going to join in on Age of the Kings. I'm a little bit behind Germany. That is a problem, but I actually have found Germany. They are below Persia, and whilst they are strong, they're not that strong. The only problem is as soon as we get to age 4, my raiders, they don't become useless, but they become effectively useless. That is the only problem we've got to deal with here. Next chaos event, these are going to fire rapidly when you're going to war with somebody, but it's okay. Either we can have 3 rebel units spawn on every single one of our vassals, don't like it, or we just continue paying the gold. Germany want open borders. Germany are looking for friendly relations. Interesting. I don't gain anything from this right now until I send them an envoy, which is currently the unit I am using right now to integrate cities like Hardy. So I get one of those down to the borders. We can't do anything fun like making treaties for knowledge or culture or wealth or anything like that, so we might as well stay neutral to hostile with them. They're so far away, I'm not going to really suffer from that. It's not like Persia, who were right on my border. I mean, look how close we were. They just went, what direction can we go? Oh yeah, that's right, north. Oh look, there's Ursa. They were asking for it. Although, that's really annoying. I tell you what, you have an army right outside the grand town of Jono, and I do not want that to fall. I'm going to have to split my defensive units a little bit here. Let's move some of you around to there. Okay, that's fine. We've actually got more units around in different places than I thought. As long as I've got some units stationed in all of these towns, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be absolutely fine. But the production of Byzantium is now starting to go up and up and up. We've gone from 20 to 36 now. And I feel like we've only just begun. See how much of the walls of their capital we can knock down. I actually took down the walls. Interesting. Let's force march you now. Still count as routed. I don't like that particularly, but if I move you to there, I can then reinforcements you, which removes a little bit of experience from a unit, but heals you right up. And now you can go back in. Better to be slightly weaker, but win a battle, I find. And there's the regional capital conquered. Persia's out. No more units prowling around my lands. We have taken over everything they once held dear. I'll be hedged. This place may be on fire, but one day it will regrow into something special, something beautiful. Actually, one thing I could do is start rebuilding towns that I've destroyed using my engineering XP. It's not the most efficient thing to be doing with it, but it will actually help these towns to grow considerably. All right, well, all of my troops head south. Let's go see if we can find out who this, what do they call them? German Empire is. Who are they? What do they do? Do they have cities for me? Probably. Oh yeah, my raiders are getting so weak. There will come a point very soon, but this initial raider strategy just stops working, and I think I might have already hit that point, which is a little bit of a shame, but it was going to happen at some point. And you see this research trickling in now. 3.6 from Vassals. That was 2 only 5 turns ago. Our vassals are now beginning to grow, and we've accumulated quite a lot of powerful vassals from Persia. It's most important now that we just get to the Age of Kings as quickly as we can. I still want Byzantium to be the powerful, wonderful city that it knows it can be, but Alex Frost has every right to grow as well. So I'm tempted to expand a town out onto Alex Frost and go for, again, another beautiful little woodland town, because age 4 lumber mills, or these foresters, become incredibly useful. So yeah, I think we are going to create a town. Alex Frost, you've got the wonderful Anna Banana helping you out here. This will be a lumber town once everything has worked out. I mean, these forests, this huge forest between Byzantium and Alex Frost is going to be the furnace that fuels my entire empire. It's going to be wonderful. Speaking of, I'm looking at the ways I can improve Byzantium. We have 2 whole bags of flour here. Let's cook it into 2 things of bread. Bang. Huge boost of food. Now we need to work on other bits and pieces in this city. I'm just making sure that we get improvement points at the moment. I need to get to a place where Byzantium and Alex Frost are totally improved. Then I'll start building things again. Welcome, Portland. My 20th city. 2 regions, 18 vassals. I am thinking about the possibility of bringing a 3rd in. It would increase my culture cost by 4, and I would gain 2 of it back. So I'd go from 8 culture to 6. That is beginning to get to the point where culture would be an issue. I might wait until age 4 before I do that. I am thinking about it. Germany, your production, well, it may give you something, but your power score is way under mine. I'm going to declare hostilities. Now, I've got to wait 3 turns before I can declare war. This is plenty of time for my armies just to start gathering around theirs, scoping out their cities, working out where everything is. Where do my units need to go? Where are the easy and obvious targets? Where best to strike first? We'll find them. Don't worry. We'll find them, I have to say. Taking out Germany would mean that I think we become the tech leader. And it's pretty decent as well if Germany has got a bunch of tech in their lands. It means if I take it over, well, hopefully that'll translate to me. When you have this many logs in a single city, you might as well build a second saw pit. Quite a bit of engineering XP beginning to appear every turn now. Hopefully we can use that to massively fortify my nation. Always remember that you can spawn utility ships using exploration XP. This is a really good way of just getting endless sources of fish into your nation. Just keeps your housing up without you needing to do anything. Oh, this is an easy chaos of event. I'm really sorry, Clint, but you're an amazing governor. You can handle this. All it is destroy one mine or pay 450. I'm just going to let that happen. You can fix it. I believe in you. Germany has pushed us into the Age of Kings. Not a problem. Normal ages all the way through for now. We will be there in 3 turns. Then things get good. Then things get really good. Byzantium finally gets a midden. This is something that gives more sanitation, and it also gives more if you work it. Game likes to not work this tile, but 8 sanitation in a single city means that Byzantium is now continuing to grow. Start to work on some of the basic buildings now. Things like a meeting hall, a market. All of these things will give diplomacy XP, and that'll help me to bring my vassals online quicker. Like Major King Kong has the merchant at the moment. Hardy has the envoy. We'll just cycle these things through until we are totally up to date. Remember I said I was on 3 signs per turn? Now it's 4.5 as all of these vassals come online. Now we have hostilities. I'm just killing all the German scouts around the map as well. It's 3 warfare XP. It's 3 health. Age of Kings. We can now build castles, which are weird versions of outposts. We can get a religion, which will both make my empire brilliant and terrible at the same time. And raiders is unfortunately now obsolete. We also get a new domain. 2 people have selected them already. Somebody has gone for a shogunate. Somebody has gone for theologians. Theologians? I like that as a word. Theologians. Broadly speaking, the Age 4 choices are as such. Explorers are all about the sea, exploring the land, and getting early access to explorers, which let you go back to these wonderful rainforests and Great Barrier Reefs, and you can do these really cool projects. So it's really good fun. Crusaders is all about religion and war at the same time. If I was going to continue going for crazy war, this is what I would do. Khans is another form of war that lets you use barbarians to make fleet Kashyyyk horse archers that just run around killing everyone. Machinery works on iron and engineering XP, and generally lets you make some really cool stuff like clock towers, which give you huge amounts of luxuries actually. Yeah, I really want to play a game with them at some point. Shogunate, somewhere between diplomacy and war. Don't mess with them. The spice merchant lets you put down better outposts that generate spice and give you extra defenses and gold. Theologians, this lets you use your religion to give you culture and faith and wealth. And then there's chivalry, which generally speaking is pretty rubbish. Sure, your castles can have taverns, which gives you a tiny bit of food. I mean, it does make mead, which is good. And sure, you can summon peasants to your lands and then use them to make more settlers and spread around the map. So there's some really cool stuff you can do. But this is why chivalry is so good. Medieval medicine. 150% vassal population growth. Wouldn't that be cool if I had 18 vassals, all individually maintained and looked after by my channel supporters? Oh wait, yes I do. Now this is a practiced and improved version of the strategy I used on the live stream. Trust me, it gets really good. And because I had 30 XP, and by taking it first I get another 30 XP, and go immediately for medieval medicine. So now every single vassal has 250% population growth. And interestingly, remember like 3 turns ago I mentioned I was on 4.5? I'm now getting more knowledge and more culture from my vassals than I am from my own cities. Yep, welcome to the mid-game, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, Germany, it's war. This is what happens when you get into an age before me. I get very, very jealous, and this is where we're going to find that now they are in the Age of Kings, their militia are actually way tougher than my units. These are obsolete now. These are so obsolete. The only advantage I've got is that they have additional combat buffs against militia units. So when it comes to killing cities, that's something that they can do very well. But I'm going to find that the majority of my army here, well, it's not going to be very powerful. I'm going to be out-teched. This is a war of opportunity. We've already claimed 1 city. Welcome, Garrett Gowan. Look after this with your life. But it may be that I can't really push Germany as far as I would like in this war. Even the barbarians are beginning to not be as pushover as I would like them to be. Now, in terms of tech, there are hundreds of good options in the Age of Kings, but one that I would like is machines. Machines unlocks a logging camp. This is an improved version of a forester. It does exactly the same thing, but just having it and working it gives you an additional +4 production. Now, I have 9 of these in my city. That would be another 36 production. Byzantium at the moment has 44, so we would be doubling it. We would be turning Byzantium from a feudal little city to a pre-industrial mega city. So of course I'm going to be going immediately for machines. If you're going for a crazy farming empire, feudalism is the one you want to go for because there's a lot of plantation and farm upgrades in there. Medieval university is also one that we would like as well. Now seeing as I've got so much chaos already from my war with Germany, I'm actually going to take one of the units from a barb camp this time. This is an explorer. An explorer uses exploration XP to go up to landmarks like this and engage in big projects. Now, normally you can't get this until age 5, and we're in age 4, so this is a really, really good pickup for me. Amazon Expedition. What you do is you have 50% chance of succeeding. If you fail, it dies, and there are 4 stages. Every stage, you can do something that either gives you something, or you pay something to increase your chance. Now, I'm going to take Exploration XP hit 30. I'm making quite a bit of it per turn at the moment because we have lots of cattle, we have various improvements around my land. You can see I'm making 2 per turn at the moment, so it's fine. I want to succeed. Succeeding in these things is very, very useful and gives you big, big tech boosts. I like big tech boosts. It's my favorite sort of boost. Again, we're doing exactly the same thing that we did to Persia. They have some very strong units. These knights are way more powerful than my units. They've got catapults. They're coming armed to the teeth. They really are, but I'm just running around capturing and killing units that I see in the middle of terrain. Like, what are you doing there? Injured just by yourself. I absolutely gonna run in here and kill you with almost minimal loss. There we go. Look, so some really, really good kills. Forced march on my scouts. You're gonna be the ones to take down this outpost. Everyone in. Everyone get involved, I say. So I've linked an outpost to Alex Frost because Alex Frost is struggling with growth. I've worked the woods and these cattle, but there's just not enough food in this nation until the granary gets built. So I've linked it. And for 30 improvement points, I can build a trading post. Now that sends the cattle over to Alex Frost, even though it's got nothing to do with the city. This is where outposts start to generate their points. I'm also now going to use my culture to found a religion. You should call it All Hail the Supporters. And the worship building will be called the Coffee Palace. Now what this does is it creates a religion in the city of Byzantium. At the moment, it's the only religion in the game, but just by having it, I'm gaining another 2-point-something culture per turn, and I've only just founded it, and it's increased and given me another type of resource that I need to keep an eye on. This is called faith. Now, just by making a religion, I give myself a religious birthplace building that gives me 10 of it, so the city's actually growing faster now than it was doing before, and I'll start getting lots more culture as it spreads around. However, as it does spread, we need to make sure that we generate faith, so we will have to work on faith buildings later into the game. It's not totally for 3 this, but it should be a lot of fun nonetheless. I'm going to start trying to pick up innovation as well soon. I feel like there's loads of innovation. We've had quite a low innovation run. You can play a lot heavier on it than I am at the moment. Stuttgart, I mean, don't leave your units out like that. You'll just give me all kinds of beautiful, beautiful 3 experience. I'm just going to take the city of Frankfurt on now, a little town. See what I mean? My troops are no longer just killing things without repercussion. I've got to be a little bit careful now. Yeah, I just got attacked and almost routed in one go there. They are so much more powerful than me. Never mind. We do what we can. Here we go. The chance of success, 70%. Is this going to be a successful expedition for me, or am I going to get typical Ursa spy and rock band luck? It was a failure, and it's dead. Okay. Oh, that was lovely to see, eh? Lovely to see. Germany went out of this piece way quicker than Persia did. It's funny that they have the tech advantage. They really do have the ability to beat my units back here, but very quickly they're realizing that they probably can't. I mean, this city of Berlin, again, it's got no walls, so my raiders just come in and attack the city. Can't kill units to save my life, but cities, now that's something that I can get hold of. Welcome, Radiatore! Right by Mount Fuji. This is a pretty city. Yeah, bad play. Ooh, this is a bad one. This is a bad one. 1 pike and 1 knight at each region. It says regions. That will spawn it at all my vassals as well. Trust me. No, I think I'd rather pay the gold. Thank you very much. Interestingly, I now have a really good option. Major King Kong. This city is incredibly prosperous. It's now giving me almost an entire science and culture just by itself. It's not particularly improved. It's working really well. I could use some government XP to order some research. Now, this will reduce prosperity by 50%. It'll take about 3 turns to recover, but will give me 15 knowledge. That's a turn's worth of knowledge basically for 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for my government XP to begin to cap out. I want to bring as much forward as I can. I want to get to about 200 and then bring that into age 5, because my upgrade to a government from kingdom it's really, really good, but it needs a couple of promotions to really make it tick. So I'll get get to 200, and once we get closer to that, then I'll start spending it on science. I think that's the way to do this. I feel like this is the final salvo of a lot of these different units. Yes, I've got a lot of very powerful raiders, but there's nothing I'm ever going to really be able to do. So we're going to attack the absolutely ridiculously well fortified city here. With each attack, all I'm doing is looking to try and get the walls down. If I can just break the walls, bam, then everything else is fine. I mean, admittedly, we might lose a couple. Yeah, we lost one unit there, but the walls are now down. That means the next set of units can just run in, and I've got crossbows and things that can do full damage against stuff. We're going to lose a lot of troops, but if we can take this city, my goodness, it will be worth it, he says, losing most of his units there. Never mind. Let's try again, and oh, this time, look, the militia is weakening. Run in, everyone. Run in. Do the damage. Yes. Oh, look, some militia are down. Oh, we've taken a lot of damage. We've taken a lot of damage, but we're going to do it. This really is the last Viking hurrah. Yes. They have but a tower. A single tower. Force march. Come on. Step out a little bit. Get some reinforcements. Nope. I'm not out of territory, am I? Now you are. Right. Reinforcements done. Forced march. Come on. Back in you come. I'm spending so much experience here. There's nothing else I can do with warfare experience, and this is worth it. Taking a city as strong as this one. Bam. Look at that. Stuttgart. 9 population. Suddenly the biggest vassal I've got. Welcome. Zaf, join the party. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. I lost a lot of units doing that. I'll have to reconsolidate my army a little bit, make sure everything is working well, but that's a big pickup for me. Germany's now down to 1 city. I could offer them peace, or we could try and find where that city is. Not actually sure. Oh, look, more tribal camps. They still exist. What this is teaching me, though, is that my army is at the last legs now. I'm not going to be able to defeat somebody after this, so I'm actually going to try and be friendly with the Aztec Empire. Let's propose an alliance. We'll make a friend. Being friends with people in this game, it can be incredibly beneficial for you, especially when you've already got 23 cities. Maybe at this point, you might think to yourself, I don't need any more cities. And to be fair, you might be right. You might be right. There you go. Aztecs are now my allies. All I need to do is find where their cities are, and we can explore how to increase my alliance level with them. It sounds ominous. It really isn't. Oh, is this them? There they are, down here. Perfect. Rebellion! If I press this button, 3 rebels spawn on each vassal. Oh my goodness, they're so powerful. No. And this is interesting. Germany have truced me. Now that is a culture power. You press this button, it immediately ends all wars. There's nothing I can do about it, but they've used a culture power to do that. That's a big move. All right. Well, if that's how you want to play, that's how you want to play, but I'm just going to come and find you anyway. I don't mind if you don't want to fight. That doesn't bother me in the slightest, because here's the thing. I do want to fight. I very much want to fight. My scouts, by the way, are now so powerful because they do level up with time, and obviously they heal. I can just make them attack barbarian camps, and they actually heal more than they take. Very helpful. I want to finish the kingdom. This is the 10 innovation 2 culture on my homeland, but I'm just waiting to innovate something first. As soon as that ticks over, I'll lose 70% of it, then I'll take it. It's more efficient doing it that way. That's why I'm waiting, if you had wondered why I wasn't using my government experience. I do want to save it up as well, but there's a reason why I'm saving it in this particular manner. I'm also going to build a small navy in my capital. Let's start exploring around the coast and see what we can find. Actually, scrap that. Before I mean, galleys are rubbish, okay? They're absolutely rubbish. I'm going to levy workers just for a second, so I can make 46 tile improvement points. And now do you see all these green arrows? Those are the arrows of upgrade, because now I have unlocked a logging camp. This is big. This is a big upgrade for me. Now I'm going to unlock medieval university first. This means that I can then turn my production into knowledge, which means I can just rush stuff. It's annoying that the picture for medieval university, for whatever reason, Millennia decided the best university in the world to make a picture of was university, and I don't get it, but what can you do? We'll get it done. And for the low cost of 16 production, as long as I improve tiles that are being worked, you can watch the production of my city increase. Currently, we have 51 production. Now, let's start to go. Bam, 81 production. Oh, yes. It's exactly the same, but it gives 4 extra production for each person I work. Oh, man. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. The fun thing is that I own pretty much all of the continent now, apart from this little area down here. Now, I'm actually tempted to keep Germany and the Aztecs alive. I'm going to form treaties with them. We're going to be able to work them for all of the positives because I've got so many cities already. And what they're going to do is they're actually going to peg each other back. They are going to get in each other's way. They're going to fight each other. They are going to crab bucket themselves to the point that they're not going to be able to get a decent resistance against me, the true superpower. That's the hope anyway. That's the hope. Knights of the Round Table. Knightly units get morale and defense. It's not very good. I'll take it because I don't really need the gold, but that's fine. Germany actually accepted open borders. We've kind of subjugated them now. Very much we've pressurized them into a peace. Now what I want to be doing is sending envoys down there. Zaf, I'm just going to send one from you. We will send envoys to both Germany and the Aztecs, and we will start to do the beautiful business, trading with them, being lovely, being wonderful little allies. Now we've innovated, by the way, extra culture, extra innovation. Now we save up our government XP. I keep saying that, but one day we will. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cancel my alliance with the Aztecs, and we're not going to be fixed allies with either of them because they're warring with each other, and if I'm allied with one of them, my fear is that they'll pull me into the war with the second, and I don't want to have to fight either of them. What I'm doing is spending my beautiful points on fun things. I have 40 engineering points, which means this outpost, I can change it to a castle, which, because I do it in the Age of Kings, gives me a small culture bonus. Not very much, but a small bonus nonetheless. Now this is linked to the Grand City of Byzantium, which has got 2 issues right now. We have no luxuries and we have no faith. Luckily for me, on the flat, barren desert tiles of this land, very soon, we'll be able to, no actually we need organized religion to do this, I'll be able to build abbeys. These can only be built in castles, so the thing I've just improved, but each one gives 1 luxury and 6 religious pressure, so that is huge. Alex Frost has actually managed to get itself a 6 population, which means we can put a 3rd logging camp around Anna Banana, and the production in this city is quite something. But I'm just going to, I want to claim the territory between the 2. It's going to take ages. This is quite an expensive tile purchase thing here, but it means in a second I can use a culture power to absorb that town into this city, and I can get public quarters. 15 housing. Don't mind if I do. Absorb outpost. Bam. It's a grand old city now. The town, the beautiful town of Dad Tato. Oh, the Aztec capital's big. 15 pop. Germany's capital was 17 briefly, so my 17's looking good. But you can see it's quite difficult to stay ahead of the AI forever and ever and ever. You need to work hard. You need to keep at it. Oh, just as we'd hoped. Germany and the Aztecs have just gone to war. As long as they stick down in this little corner and just do that continually. I like that. Germany have settled this random city again. Again, when you've got as many cities as I do, you don't worry about this stuff anymore. My religious tolerance at the moment is not good. As soon as Byzantium falls out of a local reforms, I no longer have enough faith. So we need to get some more faith, and to do that, we need to go organized religion. Luckily for me, it's fairly easy to maintain. I'm getting culture every 4 turns at the moment. Beautiful. Envoy has arrived at Germany, which means we can now open negotiations with them. I would like a treaty. I think all of these yields are amazing, especially the knowledge. I don't mind if Germany gets a bit of knowledge. They've only got 1 city at the moment. Let's open an embassy. It costs 30 diplomacy. Hopefully they will accept. Actually, this is becoming really good now. 20 government XP. I will reduce RB Hedge's prosperity by 50%, which will recover in 3 turns, but I will gain 30 knowledge, which is over a turn's worth for me. Oh, I'm so close to doing that. So close to doing that. I'll just get this as close to 200 as I can, but that is a technique which mid-game is going to give me basically all of the knowledge I would ever need. The embassy has been accepted with Germany. 3 turns, and I'll make a treaty with them. Now this is really good as well. Now that we have an actual friend, I can start importing things that aren't just 1 culture for 8 wealth, which isn't a very good ratio. A wine? That just gives me culture. Clay? 1 improvement point. Copper is 2 production. Cotton is 2 wealth. I guess I could import rice. I could get some more flour going later, but I'm not entirely sure any of this is really very good at the moment. I'll save my wealth for now. This is what's keeping me safe from all of the scary chaos events, which I don't like at all. If ever you want to know how you're doing compared to the AI, by the way, have a look up here. Once you get to age 5, you can start to get victory ages. I need to have a power score of more than 150% higher than anybody else in the game, and I'm 120% at the moment. That means I am in first place. Numero Numero uno. What you gonna do, game? Are you gonna catch up with me now that I've got 21 vassals? And look at the population. They're all beginning to max out on population. This is the art of chivalry. It's wonderful. It'll get even better later. That's the hilarious thing. I actually need to think about what age 5 I want to go into. If I'm the one to push it, Age of Intolerance is a crisis age that could give a lot of culture if I'm willing to defend my religion quite aggressively. Age of Discovery is a heroic age, and I really like it because it's all about explorers, and yeah, I think that's the one we're going to go for. Renaissance is fun, but it's a normal age. I'm going to go for Discovery. That means I need 5 docks. That should be easy enough to build in my empire, to be absolutely honest with you, because we have almost infinite improvement points already. I've got 31 coming in per turn, and 27 of those are from my vassals right now. This should not take long at all. There you go. 5 are built all around my coast. We can go for Age of Discovery. Perfect. Chaos event. Druids. This would remove all of the food from my wheat, flour, and bread. I don't like that. I will just pay the druids gold. Everything that you've got problem-wise in this game can just be paid away. Not a very good life lesson, that, but it's one I want to take. I've got another castle outpost. Actually, this is good. This now links the road all the way through to my captured territories down in Persia. So we now have a continuous road. This one is linked to Alex Frost, and we will convert that into a castle for when organized religion is ready. Oh, I'm so ready for this. In fact, given the fact that we have almost 200 government XP now, let me show you the power of order research. We're getting 32 tech at the moment per turn, or knowledge. 24. Here we go, 33. So I'm getting extra turns worth just for 20 government XP. This city will recover really quickly. That means we finish organized religion. We can now work on the Age of Discovery, which hopefully we will be first towards. You can see my capital needs both faith and luxuries. Let's go to the castle. Castle Byzantium. 20 improvement, 1 abbey. That gives me 6 faith and 1 luxury, which now, look at that. Oh, just 1 is enough to really, really push my city forward. But think of what 2 would do. Oh, it's almost perfect already. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. But that is a very handsome looking city. In fact, I can go from a coffee palace to a large coffee palace and get a holy site on top of that. Beautiful. What a place in the world to be. The grand city of Byzantium. I've also now got an envoy with the Aztec. I'm going to finish my treaty with Germany first, though. 7 knowledge per turn. It's to both of us if we agree, so we will give Germany a bit of a boost, but I like this. Innovation, bend the knee. From this point onwards, another 20% damage against militia units. Well, if we do want to go and kill some more cities, I can only see that as a good thing. Greece is right on my tail, actually. Look at that. I thought I was really racing away with this, but no. I'm 14% of the way there. Greece is 10%. I will push the future forward because they're just going Renaissance. I would like to put the Age of Discovery on. It's so much better. It's more fun as well, if nothing else. But we'll keep an eye on that. We have ways of boosting our technology pretty heavily if we need them. I was keeping an eye out for wonderful conquered territories that would make good major cities, because right now an integration would cost me 2 culture per turn, but I've got the government XP. We're happy we're in a good place. I think RB Hedge, you have just about integrated. Time to bring you on side as my 3rd major city. And I mean, for whatever reason, everything in this city still seems to be burning. I don't know how or why that could have happened. No, not at all. We need to have a look at this city and see what we can do to make it into something special. Like, for instance, let's get a seat of power done quickly. Thank you so much. Get the granary going. In fact, RB Hedge is slightly bigger than Alex Frost, so it will need their faith and the luxuries first. So I'm going to change my 2nd castle being linked to that city, because we've just got the engineering experience we need to flip it over. Let's give it a go. 1 little boost of extra faith into this city. That should start spreading the religion to this city and giving me a load more culture. 7 extra knowledge per turn. Come on, Germany. You know that's a good deal. Byzantium has now finished everything that it physically can build, according to my tech. That's fairly crazy. All right, then. I guess I'll have more science. Thank you very... Oh, my lord. That was a lot of extra science. Okay. Yeah. Hang on. Let me just show you the difference in this, right? I'm getting 36 tech from this city. If I take it off, that's worth 24 science per turn, that project. That just shows you what having a crazy production city will do for you. Germany likes the science. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And you can see, oh yeah, we're leaving Greece for the dust. Goodbye, Greece. You can't keep up with us. It's the Age of Discovery. Age 5. We can find lost cities of gold with conquistadors. Come on. That's cool, right? There's social fabrics. There's new reward camps on land and water. The map has repopulated itself slightly. It's good fun. Imagine if in a game game of Civ 6, tribal villages just appeared again halfway through the game. That's the sort of craziness we're dealing with right now. So we need to wait for my government to sort itself out, which it will do within the next, what is this, 3 turns. 3 turns and we'll get there. But the techs in the Age of Discovery, well, they're quite something. The one I would really like would be technical engineering. It does a few things which are quite cool. It allows us to remove forests, jungles, and deep forest. That's cool. It upgrades the sawmill, which is pretty much the main staple of my economy in Byzantium at the moment. Not a great upgrade, but it is at least an upgrade. It means we can get better production buildings, lifting towers, a better ratio of workers into improvement points. That in itself is ridiculous. But what I might do quickly is just drop down into feudalism back in the previous age, because what we missed out on was increases the max town my regions can support. Yes, we can upgrade Soldier in his bucket, Jono, Anna Banana, Dad Tato. All of these can be improved. I mean, for instance, Jono is currently giving 12 production to Byzantium. Imagine if Jono got bigger, plumper, more powerful. Dare we imagine such a world? I dare. We also have unlocked something called the Social Fabric. This is an Age 5 thing. You can start to give yourself permanent boosts, all kinds of skills, which is quite fun. I've got 2 points to spend. I started with 1 in tenacity, which means my unit maintenance a little less. I mean, that's okay. So the top one is tile expansion cost reduction. This would let me make huge cities. Insight is research cost, makes me go through the tech quicker. Tenacity is upgrade unit or unit cost. Ingenuity is how much points I need to put down for tile improvements. That's not a problem for me. Wealth per turn, you get 8 wealth per turn, but I'm already on 200. So, you know, that's not great. And then unrest reduction, that's one of the easiest things that you can fix. I think I might go for something a little bit different. We might go for tile expansion cost reduction per point. I'm going to actually see if we can just push this one and expand into the surrounding tiles a little bit quicker, because I want Byzantium to be a big, beefy city. I never want it to stop. Imagine how big a city we could get if we just believed. I can now also upgrade a couple of buildings. Dwellings, which give me 5 housing, can now become houses, which give me 12. That's a pretty simple and cool cost. But the midden, which is 4 sanitation twice, can become a trash heap, which is 8 twice. Now that is something a growing city really likes. These new conquistadors, I need to send them out. I need to go and launch new expeditions to the most difficult to reach places on the map, and I can actually spawn more with some of this exploration XP. So we'll get a few going. Who knows what we'll find, eh? Who knows? The more I look at chivalry, once you've got medieval medicine, none of this is actually very good. So I think I might spend my arts XP on other things. Now, generally speaking, the main thing you end up doing is spreading your religion, which I should be able to do fairly quickly and fairly easily. We can induce extra religion and reduce a little bit of unrest in this city. We'll do that. Yes. And now we follow. Now we follow the light, the glory, all the more culture for me. We're about to top out at government XP, so I'll just treat myself to a small chunk of science. 27 or 30 knowledge. I'll go for 30, especially because this is a city being boosted by a merchant. Just shaved a turn off feudalism. Lovely. Right, now that we have feudalism boosted, we can start to expand our towns even more. Jono, this will take you from a 12 production town to an 18 production town. If we rush the culture, we can now form a peaceful revolution and go to the 3rd stage of government. The choice is fairly simple. Empire is about going overseas and conquering. Think Europe. Think sun never sets. We can integrate things faster. We can get culture when we conquer capitals. We can trade more. There are emperor's offices and emperor's palaces. It's quite aggressive. Republic is for when you have fewer, more populous and powerful regions. This gives you an upgrade called the Palazzo. It gives you a lot of stuff, including luxuries and arts and culture. You do not need many cities, but it will boost the ones you've got massively. So if I wanted to focus on Byzantium, RB Hedge and Alex Frost, that would be how I went about it. Feudal monarchy is like an upgrade to my monarchy. This is all about focusing on vassals, and there are some extra ones we want to have a look at here. Extra vassal prosperity per turn, well, we need to pick that up because we've actually lost our one because we don't have our monarchy bonuses anymore now that we've upgraded. 2 times internal improvement points income on vassals, so they can build things themselves faster. 2 times population growth from terrain, wealth from terrain, and improvement points from terrain. Yeah, so they start to grow quicker. A culture power that means I can add 1 population to all vassals. Government XP from vassals, diplomatic XP from vassals, increasing the max. This is the government when you have 20 vassals sat around. So let's enjoy. First of all, we will select it. The throne room is the upgrade building that we want. I think as much as I want +5 2.5 prosperity per turn. Most of them have actually hit 300% already, and we haven't got the upgrade to that just yet. So instead, I'm going to make the vassals grow faster. And now here's a fun thing. At the moment, I'm currently getting 6.5 government XP per turn. 6.5. But now I'm getting a percentage from all of my vassals. Just like vassals are giving me culture and research. Quite a lot, actually. Vassals are giving me almost half my research and half of my culture at the moment. But now, it's not 6.5 government XP per turn. It's 18. Yep, 18 government XP per turn. And then we're also going to get some diplomatic XP on top of that as well. Yeah, this is a very powerful government when you have this many vassals. I think we better get all the throne rooms up, eh? I need to celebrate my rule from my new all-inclusive upgraded thrones. I now have improved pastures and ranches as well. They give even more resources. Improved farms, which give more wheat. Oh my lord, so many improvements. I'm struggling to work out exactly what needs upgrading. The answer is probably just all of it. Here's a fun upgrade. This is a kitchen. This turns 2 meat, which is worth 3 food each, into 2 delicacies, which is 10 food and 4 luxuries. Oh, okay, I don't think Byzantium is actually capable of being unhappy now. Pretty sure it's just locked into happiness. Yep, we're at 200%. We're growing at max capacity. Oh, wow. People sometimes ask me why I don't make clay and bricks in this game. Well, clay and bricks is useful for improvement points, but if you have a look at the bottom left right now, you'll see that all of my cities combined are making 8 improvement points per turn. I'm getting 42 from vassals. I physically couldn't improve everything if I wanted to. That's how many points I'm getting right now. It's pretty mad. I'm loving this. Oh, and even kitchens are just causing all of my cities to grow with alarm. So far we've had 0 successes, but let's have a look and see what the jungle expedition, a 90% chance of success. Oh, it actually worked. This one's riskier. Great Barrier Reef, 60% chance of success. Failure. Death to you. What about this one? 80% chance. Engineering XP. Oh, that's good. Success. So we've had 2 successes, 2 failures so far. That is acceptable. That is very acceptable. So this is really fun. Oath of Fealty. Increases population at all vassals. Let me just show you this. We've got Clint, Major, King Kong, Zaf, Callumbilly, Cartesian, Flying Thunder, Gooberman, Hardy, I'm Daft, Portland, Radiatori. Watch how much population they've got. So I can go, I think all 20 of my vassals need 1 extra population. Bam. They couldn't even get that population by themselves if they wanted, but now I can just infinitely plump them. We will never stop. 3rd castle has been put down. Now every single city in my nation has one. We can spread our religion this way. It's just the easiest way of casually spreading it. The aim of the game now is basically just to keep boosting my vassals over and over and over and over. There will come a point where they physically cannot get boosted anymore, but trust me, that point is a long way down the road. And some of these cities are bigger than my actual cities, and it means when I do bring them on side, I'll be able to pay the government experience, bring in Clint, and it'll be a 14 population city just ready to go. Like Zaf down here as well, 13 population. Oh my lord, it's just perfect. 90% chance of El Dorado, and I got failure of 99. Paul, spies are at it again. I know it. Ah, that's annoying. Fine, I'll make a new one, but honestly, 100% chance of success. I wonder if there's any way. I thought the game might try and take that one away from me. I thought that was pretty good. Let's have even more fun now. Vassals generate diplomacy XP. Let's have a look and see what this does me. Another 25 diplomacy XP per turn. Ah, yes. Totally balanced. Did I mention as well I'm getting 245 wealth per turn? Just from my vassal. I'm getting so many improvement points. I physically do not know what to do with them now. Like, I am desperately, absolutely desperately improving everything I can around them. Oh dear, this is hilarious. Vassal autonomy. This is my innovation. The crown is strengthened by a strong and loyal set of lords and ladies. The vassals of Byzantium are allowed to expand and grow so long as they continue to swear to the monarchy. I thought it said swear at the monarchy there for a second. I was like, hang on. 10% border expansion per turn, 2.5% vassal population growth per turn. Oh yes. Oh, it just stacks. Stacks upon stacks upon stacks of fun. And how about we take another Oath of Fealty? Who Who cares if the cities physically cannot contain all of this population? It just means more towers are going to get worked. They'll upgrade faster. We'll get more population. I mean, the score I must be on compared to, say, the Aztecs. I'm on 3,000. Oh my lord. Oh, this is all just too good. I'm just building things in cities now. I reached that delicious point where everyone is just happy with everything. And more sawmill improvements as well. Yes, yes, yes. I have 12 pieces of lumber. If only there was something I could find that lumber was made into, eh? Imagine that. And here you go. This time it says 130% chance of success. I mean, even the game can't. There we go. I was gonna say. Sometimes you do have to sort of look at the game and go, you're gonna take this away from me? You're gonna try and do that? Not this time. Not this time. I'm just gonna dip back into dry compass briefly. We're gonna start to get some sailing text now. I fancy going to find the rest of the world. This continent mustn't be everything, right? There must be more out there. More in the world. Oh, amazing. The Aztecs just accepted a treaty. Between the two, we've got 20 science coming in per turn just from those two treaties. We've got 27 from my vassals. 70% chance. Go on. Failure! Again. Oh, this is true percentage dicing. It's harsh. It's cruel, but it's fair. This one is 80%. Success! Yay! One more O for fealty. Populations are getting pretty big now. Pretty big. Extra vassal prosperity max. Oh, amazing. Now we can get all the way up to 350%. 90% chance. Success! Hey! Well, this is useful. 2.5 times attack against barbarians from this point out. Nice. And a building in a city that does suppression and 8 luxuries? Wow. That's pretty cool. Well, let's get open sailing then, I think. That's the only other one I really want as a priority, because now I can go and get out. You can go and see the world. I am getting almost 97 improvement points per turn at the moment. 97. So I think it's probably best if we integrate another city in. I'll lose 5 culture per turn. I'll gain 2. It's beginning to become a little bit less of a decent trade, but I would rather keep like a city like Clint as a vassal. This city's giving me tons. 80 gold per turn at the moment. That's really, really big. Whereas this city's a little bit less. It's giving me more of an opportunity to improve it. So the space around this is even better. There you go, Skeptical Bear. Welcome. How are you doing? Hope everything's well. Here are some olives. Let's immediately turn those olives into delicacies. Population limit. This is the problem. What if these cities just aren't building into things that increase the region level? That's why we're coming in. Bam. Region level increased a little bit. I don't need all of these, but it looks like we've got at least a couple of clay improvements. There's a clay mine, which gives 2 clay. I'm going to destroy this one. You don't need that as well, but brick works. Oh, that's really fiddly. This gives 3 clay, but it can work. And then this is 2. Fine, I'll keep both, but we've got a spare clay. If anyone wants one, just hanging around right now. Let's see how much extra damage we do against barbarians in fights now. Oh yeah. Okay, we're basically taking nothing, and we do it. Yeah, I like that. It's like every attack we make is a critical hit. Perfect. Well, I think we've grown above barbarians, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. We've transcended. Skeptical Bear has already started making itself fine wine for culture and luxury. Oh, I leave you alone for 2 seconds and you're already on the wine. Don't say I blame you, but just noticing. And the region level is unlocked. There you go. Perfect. It unlocks all of these little buildings and extra bits that we can do. You know, I realize there's loads of tech that we've forgotten. I don't actually know what mining is. This is such a weird game. I'm going back and I'm actually picking up an arts improvement because we have a bunch of cities and so much spare arts XP because I'm not improving chivalry because it's rubbish. What I actually want to do is start doing this. Spawn an artist in Byzantium and then I can immediately deploy them. And that gives me a 3 artwork, which gives me more luxuries. I mean, this city has so many luxuries, it doesn't know what to do with them. But it's nice to feel special. Create a town. Expand the town. Make it into a lumber town. We know how this works. It's the best. They are truly the best. 90% chance. We're missing out on a little bit of innovation doing this, actually, but it's fine. We don't mind that. We're still getting everything we need. Open sailing. Spawns a caravel of my homeland. Excellent. Let's go to the Age of Enlightenment, the 6th age. It's important we try and stay ahead of the pack while we can. Yeah, our power is expanding quite considerably. A harbor improvement gives me more gold if I work it. Yeah, go on then. I'll just improve them all because I can. And I've got the spare points and I physically cannot spend the points fast enough. When you get to this sort of late mid-game and you start finding yourselves getting too many points, you can just press the warfare domain power. Gives you a social fabric point for 3. It's a good use of the points if you literally cannot think of anything better to do. The reason I'm not sending merchants over here is because the gold they'll give compared to the gold my vassals are giving, it is so small I just haven't bothered. But I probably should. Well, I guess we better go find the new world. And everyone else, more culture, more innovation. And now this is all just spare government XP. Never quite been in this particular position before where my vassals have been giving me 34 government XP per turn. How much does a settler cost these days? Let me have a look. 36. I can get like 2 settlers per turn. I mean, I can't. There's a cooldown on them, but that is entertaining. I'm sorry, Mr. Barbarian in the canoe. My boat will destroy yours. I had a bunch of spare diplomacy XP, so I made an army of merchants, and now I'm running them up down. Just an entire army of merchants. Don't worry about them. They're fine. I think the city of Zaf is really cool. We've got so much spare government XP. I will lose quite a bit of culture here, like maybe 10 per turn, but I've got 80 at the moment. I think 5 cities is probably as big as I want to go, but this is a really big 20 population city for me to just get my teeth into. It's even got a level 2 lumber town already. This is kind of why I went for it. Everything here is just ready to go. Sometimes it's like, is this land or is this just Barbarian Island? I think we may have just been repeatedly finding Barbarian Island. Oh no, there's someone here. Another nation. The Kingdom of Spain. They are not as powerful as me, but I will open borders and I'm going to give them a good attempt at friendship anyway. In fact, actually, we'll send over an envoy. Sure. Why not? Why not? 110% chance. Do you reckon we'll do it? Think we might. Oh, it tried. If I had done anything less than 100%, that would have failed. Oh, the game. The game, it wants me to lose. It really does, I swear. Should I stop taking like this fealty oath at some point? I mean, do you reckon we've got enough population in these cities yet? I know they physically have capped out, but it doesn't stop them providing me yields. Getting pretty big now. Getting pretty big. 45 government XP per turn. Anyway, Age 6, Age of Enlightenment. We want public libraries. We want to keep converting my religion because unfortunately people want to be non-religious now. There are new national spirits. Well, I guess that's good. We're kind of done with chivalry now. That's it. That's all done. We don't need food growth anymore in my cities. We've superseded that with just endless culture powers. Oh, dear. Now with Age 6, we have all of these new national spirits and they all do different things. Scholars is all about knowledge and exploration. Commanders are all about going on huge Napoleonic-esque wars. Mercenaries are all about using gold to spawn units. War priests combine religion and attack in quite an amusing way. Inventors give you innovation and access to early electricity and knowledge. Sultans are all about building massive cities. That is tempting. Great Masters are all about wealth, art, and luxuries. Then you have colonialism. Now, colonialism is the only diplomacy card, and out of all of the domains that I have, diplomacy is the one I'm getting the most of. I've got 45 of this per turn compared to, for instance, 12.5 for engineering. We've got 7 for arts, 10 for exploration, 14 for warfare. We're getting so much more of this. Colonialism is all about wait, hang on a minute. Vassals? Vassals? What, I've got 18 of? Okay. An extra 75% prosperity, special colonies and trade factories and boosting prosperity in all of them. Yeah, this is the one. I mean, so many of them are really, really good, but this is a lot of fun. Now we can start using my culture power to put down these colony outposts. That might be interesting. That might be very interesting indeed. Hello, Spain. Hello. There's something so lovely about just taking over a new city and just fixing it. Everything. Just, you get everything. It's Greece. They have a city here, but I'm going to try my new thing. In order to do that, I might need to land my units first, actually. Right? Like so. And bam. It's a colony. Yes. What you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Gee, what I can do is I can link this to Byzantium. Like so. And then next turn, we're going to pick up a lovely thing called Trade Factory, which means we get 2 additional goods from every tile. We're going to just start funneling as many things back into Byzantium as we possibly can. This is going to be ridiculous. This city will never stop growing. I just refuse to let it. I physically refuse. Here we go. We've got trade factories. 60 improvement points. I can only make 2 of these per turn. Honestly, let's just send back tons and tons of fish now. And in typical colonial way, I'm just going to then like spawn a musket right on top of it. Why not? So many fish in this city now. So many fish. Byzantium's just like, please no more fish. I physically can't. I physically can't have any more fish. We've also met France. That's everyone now. And yeah, my power is significantly higher than everyone. We have just accelerated so fast above everyone else. Ooh, tea gives me wealth, warfare, and chaos. I don't think I'm working any tea, and chaos sounds like a terrible plan. So let's say no to that. I'm enjoying doing this so much. I'm just putting down more of these outposts. More and more and more and more. My fleet of merchants have finally arrived in the AI. Such a ridiculously small amount of wealth. But here we are. More chaos. Rebellion. No, just pay it off. That's actually almost 1 turn's worth of gold is all it costs me now. That's crazy. And look at this. I'm getting so much government XP. I physically am now running out of it. So we're starting to pick up social fabric. Tile costs are now 30% less. So you can see in cities like Byzantium, we're now getting lots of extra tiles. We've also unlocked things like ballista. That's quite fun. I might now unlock my 6th army slot with standing army. Maybe we'll go and send a couple of troops over. Who knows? The thing I like about this game is that barbarians stay relevant all the way through. I just killed a barbarian camp in age 6 and it's giving me really late game improvements, which are wonderful. Bit of chaos for another social fabric card? Yes, let's keep doing this. Perfect. I think we're going to go for another O for Fealty. I'm going to start on these again. Just keep pushing that because the amount of science and culture we're getting from Vassals doesn't make any sense to let up on that, I don't think. As fun as colonies are, and colonies are very fun, don't get me wrong. 75% extra prosperity. Oh yes. Oh, I've managed to find some specialists. This is a new type of improvement point, which is a lot harder to get. It's almost like the game knew that I'd be getting 139 improvement points per turn and thought, can I do to slow Ursa down a little bit? Just a little bit. Let's try this one. Demand fealty. This should boost prosperity in all vassals by 50% for 4 turns. I demand it. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is pretty good. This ignores the cap as well. We're at 638%. That is ridiculous. I'm now thinking the public sphere increases the number of towns a region can support. Oh yes. I feel like Byzantium isn't quite big enough. Do you all agree? I have a feeling that Germany might have been almost entirely destroyed by the Aztecs, but luckily for me, I managed to lock in a really good trade deal. So as long as they don't die when I'm keeping Munich safe like a little pet here, we'll keep all of this delicious, delicious science. This will be fine. Uh-oh, my pioneer is about to get eaten by some barbarians. Okay, it's not too bad because I can find an outpost and then immediately turn it into a castle. That seems fair. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. France wants to scuffle, do you? Interesting. Look at this fun little army that I've picked up. I've got 2 giant crossbows, 2 grenadiers, a cuirassier, and a musket, all ready to rock. I could actually just immediately get a leader level 6, which is ridiculous. I think I might actually do that and just sacrifice one of my units at the back. Oh, nope. I used the wrong one instead. Never mind. We've still got 2 siege weapons, and this leader is just, the leader is absolutely incredible. Oh, cannot wait to take that abroad. That is going to be some fun. And somebody wanted hostilities. Where are you, France? I think France is around the other side. Greece as well. Not being particularly friendly, so I might declare hostilities on them. We'll see how it goes. At any rate, when you can pump troops out this quickly, you might as well. Don't mind me as I start attacking some of Greece's units. It turns out I have some very powerful ones and they're just lurking around and they're a little bit bored. Don't blame them. Public sphere. What's that? Another town? Oh, go on then. Absorb outpost into Byzantium. And we can just immediately expand it. And then immediately, as you know, it's already expanded to level 3. Look at that. It's done already. Well, I guess we'll just make logging camps all around it. We don't need to actually work them at all. They just give me 3 production. Now Byzantium is on 180, and it's not really doing anything right now. It's just kind of sitting here. Oh, and I've got a bakery. It's an improved way of making bread. Ooh, this is nice. All right, I need to bring some more wheat in here and make it into milk. I've kind of got to that point now where I've got so many people putting resources into Byzantium. I don't need to bother actually making any resources here at all, apart from just infinite sources of wood. Instead, we focus on the really, really lovely output. They're really tasty things like wine, finished products. Already at the almost 30 population now. I love it. Another fun thing I can now go for is government, which gives me a national landmark. Another way of expanding my borders further, which is good because we're already at a minus 40% cost. Borders just keep getting bigger and bigger. Oh, no, Greece. No, 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 no. You started that. Spain. I'm gonna have to force people's borders open, aren't I? Also, look, I've got an entire embarked army and it's just being destroyed by one barb in a canoe. Leave me alone. Don't worry. I've got a man at war. It's on its way. It's going to go deal with it. You can actually see the troops that Greece has. Crossbows, pikes, leader 2s. I've got a leader 6 on the way. I think we're going to be okay, you know? Plus, even my conquistadors now have leaders, which make them more significantly better. Easy win. I mean, these raiders have absolutely no right being useful still. But against cavalry, their actual strength, well, they're pretty good. Do I want Byzantium to need more education per population? No, I would rather they stay ignorant. It's a lot easier. At the moment, I'm just cycling between demand fealty to make sure that my vassals are giving me everything they can, and then offer fealty. There's a lot of fealty going on in my nation. That's all I need, really. Just need the AI to understand that. Oh, but I'm producing so many troops. Alex Frost, Byzantium, Zaf are all producing troops now. Yeah, my boat is bigger than yours. Threw a rock at me and then I shot it. Oh dear. This is the good thing about declaring hostilities on somebody so I can attack them in neutral territory. My boats come along and just attack anything they've got embarked. That's right, Spain. I own the sea now. There's nothing you can do about that. I feel like Spain has never really truly been attacked in this game before because there are no walls in any of your cities. Not like the chaos that has happened on our continent. Yes, we're all at war. It's all been pretty brutal. What can I say? Thank you for giving me all the experience I could ever need. Oh, these look expensive. Was that expensive, Spain? That felt expensive. Wartime for Greece. I wonder if my warband could still win. No, I don't think they can. They're not very strong anymore. Oh yeah, no. I think they may die quite quickly here, but you know what? Oh yeah, there's a lot of defense. Good to know. This is why you make little scouting attacks. Actually, we did more damage there than I suspected we would. That's not bad. Quickly, force march. Get out of there. It'd be great if there was something I could do with all of these improvement points. I have a maximum of 300 and I'm gaining 300 per turn. So unless I spend every single point I've got in my entire game, every turn, there's nothing I can do. I love that. It's too many. Too many. Our bricks are known for their elegance and I get arts from it. I'll be honest, I would have liked a wonder. Arty bricks is probably not the thing I would have gone for, but never mind. Oh, Greece. Cheeky Greece. Just killed one of my colonies. I even had a musket on it, but no, it wasn't enough. Okay, that was actually quite annoying. That was feeding Byzantium. Never mind. I'm sure we can find something else. I'm sure we can find more food for the capital somewhere. Anyway, Spain? Mahaha, you join in with the war as well. And should we see how this sort of motley crew attacks Cordoba? Now, this is a fresh city. It doesn't have any troops in it because I've caught it unawares. It does have a very strong militia. It's got all of its towns up. But I have a very balanced attacking force. Now, if I had walls, my catapults would do better, or whatever, these sort of giant crossbows. Got a good blend of troops as well. A leader that gives me, what is this, plus 50% combat bonus in tactics. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Hello, Cordoba. It's good to make my introductions with a bit of a bang, you know? All of Spain's troops, they're all trying to embark. They're clearly going from one place to another in a panic, and my boats are just picking them off one at a time. Here we go. We've converted enough of the world that we can go for the age of harmony, of victory age. Let's see what's possible, eh? I want to be the world pope. My conquistadors are literally just running around Greece breaking things. I wish they had something more constructive to do, but no. Just a seemingly horrible person. Something tells me that this is not exactly a fair fight, seeing as they are holding their crossbows, and I have ones on wheels. The wheels make it unfair. My biggest issue at the moment is just shredding through so much militia. I need more of these line-killing troops. I think that's what I need. Every time the grenadier attacks, things explode quite violently. I'm not even joking. Oh, no, we win. More grenadiers. Is it rude to start settling right next to all of the territories that you're conquering from Spain? No, I think this is the colonial way, isn't it? This is the colonial way. Can I just say it is 200% satisfying to end your turn with every single one of your cities exactly 200% growth. They're all perfect. I mean, as they should be, of course, but yeah, that's satisfying. It's also very satisfying to take my 10th social fabric point in organization, so every single tile is now officially 50% cheaper. Beautiful. Just having 6 troops against 3, that in itself is the biggest advantage. That, and because I've got so many different types of units, there's something on my side to beat everything perfectly. Oh yeah, we're ripping through. This is wonderful. Attacking Spain from the sea with advanced troops. Who would have thought it? Well, I just saw all of my roads become suddenly tarmacked, which means we must be heading into the modern era now. The age of harmony. That's right. I shall be the Pope. Achieve victory if 66% of the world population follows my state religion. Can do air forces now. Can generate electricity. Goodness me. What a time. What a time to be alive. The good thing about age 7 is that you can get things like congregation. This unlocks for me an amazing amount of stuff. It gives me an extra town, a building that gives me food and faith, as well as sanitation and faith, and luxuries and faith. Like, there's nothing that you can do in this age that won't give you obscene amounts of faith, and that's exactly what you want to do, because what we are now looking to do is convert the entire world to our religion, or specifically not the entire world, 66% of it. Already we have 47%, but that's why we're starting to conquer now, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're doing. This is also a part of a game where I'm going to start more aggressively taking over cities and areas that do not follow my religion, like Radiatore. Welcome to the nation. You will cost me a little bit of culture, but it is a pleasure to have you alongside. All I need to do in this city is build things that give me religious pressure. Holy sites, large coffee palaces, a lot of beautiful stuff. And yeah, 1,800 wealth. I'm making 1,400 every turn right now. It's fine. We can do this. We can do this a lot. But this is something that will help a lot. As I take over more cities, I can bred them to my religion. Yes. Well, that's quite interesting. I just asked the Aztecs to take my religion, and they said yes. So, okay. Start to see all of their cities spread to my religion now. That makes things a little bit easier. Maybe I'll try the same with Germany. The thing is, I'm right on their borders, and they absolutely fear me. Fun thing as well is that I need to just convert 66% of the global population. The thing is the game never specified where the global population has to be. So every time I use my culture power to increase my vassals up and up and up, as you can see, with ridiculous success, well, more and more of them follow my religion because it's in my cities. That's what the game means, right? Just have 66% of the population in my own cities. Yes, totally balanced, as it always should be. Next up, now we've got congregation, I'm going to get this one. An upgrade on my abbeys and also religious ceremony. This spreads my religion to every state that I own. Yes, that's quite good. To 51% now. Climbing, slowly climbing. The ballistas are so good at taking walls down, it's ridiculous. Very handy. And once the walls are down, yeah, you can pretty much just chew through the troops as quickly as you want. Every time I press end turn now, the game just renders more population for me. I've got religion spreading to the Aztecs, to Germany, to my own cities. I literally own so much of the world's population. I swear the earth is not spinning correctly. 59% now. Byzantium's factories aren't very net. No. Let's ignore those rumors. No. So this is my new cultural power. Spreads my state religion to every region. So it's all 7 of them. That should be fun. It includes Roma. It includes Radiatore. I'll do that as a little bit of a change, and then we'll get our population up after that point. Okay, yeah, this is quite satisfying. I've got upgrades to every single abbey in my land. They look really cool, actually. They're like proper cathedrals. Might take me a while to upgrade all of these, but you know, I will, seeing as I've got 259 improvements coming in at the moment per turn. Time for religious diplomacy. I can physically ask now for people to adopt my religion officially. Plus I can send gifts. Oh yes, loads of ways to be spreading my religion now, apart from these literal holy hand grenades I've been tossing out with my army. Managed to take over a city down in Greece, and as you can see, we've actually pushed around and taken quite a few things from Spain. Seville, Murcia, Cordoba. My troops are still moving round. One by one, I keep tearing their units apart just by catching them all out independently. Can't beat my tech. My tech is too much. Every time we push the button, another 24 population. It's beautiful. It's always a shame to say. I mean, look at these units at the end. So highly promoted, just being shredded by high tech. Okay, now that I've got 7 regions and I'm at war with multiple people, now I'm seeing the benefit in having -5 unrest in every city. There's a few that are all starting to be a little bit cheeky. Luckily, these city guard are still here from the ancient era. They're happy to guard. They're happy to be there. Now I can send religious gifts to people. Everyone can have one. Everyone. Actually, not everyone. Lots of people don't like me. I'm more of a war pope than I am a peace pope. The harmony victory is kind of coming because everyone stopped fighting, which I guess is a form of harmony. Have you seen the populations of these vassals? Clint's on 31 and everyone else is on 21 or around that level. That is so funny. Who'd have thought we'd seen such big numbers, eh? As we eke closer to the harmony victory, it's worth just pointing out how successful this strategy is. Currently we have 7 regions, 27 vassals, and a lot of population. The wealth, science, culture that I'm producing right now makes the hardest difficulty AI look ridiculous. I am in the age of harmony, and to be absolutely honest with you, if I wasn't just faffing around with the earlier ages and tech, I could be racing on to age 8 right now and going to the age of rocketry and heading towards a science victory. This is Grandmaster AI. It's really difficult, and you can feel how difficult it is as I'm running around. The amount of troops, the amount of cities, the amount of production, the amount of improvements. This AI is not messing around, but it cannot deal with the amount of resource that you can kick out when you go super wide like this. Aztec and Greece are doing the best. They are both in age 6, but only just in age 6. And Spain, France, and Germany are still in age 5. So my age 7 going on age 8. I'm a full age, if not 2 ages ahead of the AI right now. And this is why over 1,000 wealth, we've got more than half of our research and culture. So many points, but I can't even use them all coming in from our vassals. And at the moment, they're not even boosted. These are down at 425%. If I used demand fealty, those boosts would go up higher. I've just been artificially boosting the population in order to rig this religious victory. But this is such a strong strategy, and it really shows off some of the more interesting mechanics in the game. The split between regions and vassals. It's really cool. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a comprehensive victory in age 7 of Millennia. I have over 6,000 hours in Civ 6, and trust me when I say that Millennia is a really, really good game. It's fun to play, it's very different each time you play it, and Grandmaster difficulty will give you a real head scratch. It took me a little while to get to this point, but now I'm here. I'm really loving it. There is a link in the description of this video and in a pinned comment, and I implore, if you fancy giving this game a go yourself, click it, follow it through, you won't regret it. Honestly, I've played this game so much since I first got it. To say it's addictive would be an understatement, let's put it that way. And this is but one type of victory. There's many different types of victories, but as I'm sure you'll understand, I have the tech advantage, I have the economic advantage, I have the military advantage. Pretty much the world had opened up to me at that point. Very satisfying indeed. The world has entered an endless age of harmony thanks to the efforts of our religious leaders. Yes, those. Ignore the giant crossbows. And from the grand forests of Byzantium, awesome Aki, Alex Frost, the beautiful shorelines of Arby Hedge, the mystical jungles of Zath, the open plains of Radiatori, or the mystical river of Skeptical Bear. I've been Ursa, and that is a full playthrough of Grandmaster difficulty Millennia. Thank you so much. See you all next time. Goodbye. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Portland, Clint Hennis, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Radiatore, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, Polar Beret, El Truant, Creston, RB Hedged, Mushkin Mandletort, Deeble Time, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Polar Wallabear, Mixomatosis, NTG Golfman, Victor McPupster, Indigenous 68, Technology Poet, Teddy's Ursa, Zaf, Barnaby Rex, Sharky Bates, Charlie Bears, Flying Dutch Burbs, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Joseph Biancani, Interplanet Janet, Mr. Awesome, Frankincense Battlezord, Sleepy Lab, Bookaluke 79. Thank you everyone for your support. See you all in the next video. Goodbye!